Well, hi there, guys and gals, game cats and game kittens, and everybody else adjacent to any of those descriptions. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig, the Hippie Pickle, as always. And yes, this is quite different for me. This kind of setup. I'm not used to doing this. I'm usually in my headset, so a little bit kind of nervous, apprehensive about doing it. But as of last weekend, I've hit 200 subscribers on the channel, and I really just wanted to show my appreciation to everybody what stops in to my channel, watches my content, likes my content or anything like that. It does mean a lot to me personally. It's not easy. It's not easy doing this and being in the limelight. Well, you know, even with 200 subscribers, might in the grand scheme of things, that's not a massive amount. But to someone like me, it does really mean a lot to have 200 people what likes what I'm doing and appreciates what I'm doing, and just I'm here talking about my passion, which is video games generally. You do get, as you've seen over the last couple of weeks, I've uploaded a bit of live music as well. I do like to put live music on there. I'm a metalhead, I'm a rocker. I like to go to gigs and I want to share that as well. But mainly, when you come to my channel, you're going to expect gaming content and especially VR content. So, Outcast, my friend, how's it going, man? Great to see you. Yeah, another guy. If anybody, if you're in the live chat, go and subscribe to Outcast VR. Absolutely fantastic guy, and he's making great content. And like myself, can get super critical on content and really critical about watching what he's putting out, and can feel that pressure of trying to run a YouTube channel and to do content. But he's doing fantastic work out there. Last video on Censorship Chapter 2, great video, good production value, really enthusiastic about the game, and thank you, man. Yeah, I do appreciate it. You'll get there soon as well. I definitely will get there. You're putting a lot of effort into it, and I'm a budget YouTuber. I do everything on a budget because I'm a tight ass. You know, I am doing everything on a budget. As you can see, my camera's not the greatest quality. I've kind of played around with the settings because the last couple of live streams, my camera's been really faint, but it's not an expensive camera. It is a budget camera, and I try my best to try to get it set up to be of a decent quality. It's to me, I think on the yeah, it's not too bad actually on the YouTube footage there. But yeah, I just wanted to do a live stream and talk a little bit about myself, what you can expect to see on my channel, and and things like that as well. But anyway, straight away, cheers everybody. It is a Saturday night, so I'm drinking. Well, I drink on any night I'm not working really, so that's always a good thing. But well, maybe depends how drunk I get, and depends what I do on the stream or not. But in terms of who I am, well, I'm a middle-aged Yorkshireman. Yeah, it's my birthday coming up in about a week or so. Yeah, the 13th of December, Friday the 13th. Oof. And I'm going to be the wrong side of 45. In other words, 46. So yeah, I'm getting on a bit. And this brings me to another subject. I seen it. I think it was on Twitter earlier, or X. I still refuse to call it fucking X. Fuck X. Um, yeah, it's like yeah, I'm I generally this is the kind of thing I don't normally do. I do struggle to talk a little bit, and if you watch some of my video game reviews, you'll probably see like some words are not quite clear or might be cut off a little bit abrupt. Oh, Fluke, thanks for dropping in, dude. Seriously, you've got some trombone champ skills. Because I've seen your name at the top of that fucking leaderboard for a few. I managed to beat you like on 102 maybe, but it's like you've got some serious skills on there. I think at the minute on PlayStation, because I don't think the cross-platform by the looks of it, but I think you've got the like overall #1 spot. I think you've got the most points. So, dude, it's like respect, absolute respect for that. I was playing a little bit last night. I'm trying to get through it because I'm going to do my game review soon, because I do want to put out a full review for it. Because anything I do get access to, is if I'm getting access to the game for free, and it's only thing I can do, is try to pay them back by doing a full review. And I'm always honest with my game reviews, and I'll honestly say I'm struggling to find a fault with Trombone Champ. The game is brilliant. It's addictive. I love good music games. Oh, Fluke! I did. Yeah, I didn't realise you're from Yorkshire as well. Yeah, I'm Barnsley. Barnsley, brawn and bred, strong in arm, thick in head. So yeah, yeah, it's not cross-platform. Yeah, because I think one of the guys from XR Update, I think it's XR Update, during they did a live event on the Quest 3 on Banter, and there was like a show. It was they recreated the entire the auditorium from Trombone Champ was in Banter, and they had Wes Dillon on there. Miles Dyer. I tell you, just you can't meet just like a funnier guy. It's like I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him in person yet, but I've talked to Miles a few times, and the thing is, he's like a big kid. He's just like a big kid when you're playing games. He's like cheeky kind of humor, and it's kind of humor I like. But oh, Doncaster, nice. Um, yeah, I was in this live event on Banter, and suddenly one of the characters someone came in with an avatar of Peter Griffin, right, and running around just going, and I'm like, you're just running around the auditorium going, and then when you got to point to them to find out who it is and the name, and as soon as it popped up and it's like Miles Dyer, I'm like, I should have known, I really should have known it was Miles, and I don't know if I've got footage. I want to put some footage up of him running around. And then he changed to Spider-Man. They were playing hide and seek, and he was up in the rafters. It took him ages to find him. Yeah, it was really good. I actually quite liked Banter. It was good, but just the detail they put into that on the launch event, and the weird thing about see, I'm getting off on a tangent. I always get off on a tangent. This is what you kind of get used to when you come. This is what you can expect on my channel. Is me just I'll start talking about one thing and go into something completely different. But they actually, and I don't think it was an arranged. It was just someone what had come in who had an actual trombone. This guy was a trombone player, and he got up on stage, and he must have somehow still been holding his controls. I don't know if he was using grips, but he was trying to look under his headset, and he played trombone live in the launch event, which was like it's just crazy. It just like I said, I don't think they organised that. If they didn't organise it, or if they did organise it, either way, it was just fantastic just to see that enthusiasm for the game. But yeah, I think a lot of people, when Flat to VR Studios announced their four first games they're releasing, I think for most people, Flat Out was the one they were most excited for because, especially on PlayStation VR 2, um, we need more races on PlayStation VR 2. And because really, what we've got of the best, of course, we've got Gran Turismo 7, which is fantastic, and I love Galaxy Kart, but that's the only two. And I'm not even going to talk Grand Rush Highway. If anybody's watching this and you're looking at games to buy, PlayStation VR 2, Grand Rush Highway Traffic Simulator, don't fucking buy that. It's shovelware shit. And you know, we've had people like Jammy Hero have had the misfortune of paying for this to tell us not to play it. And you know, and I'm thankful for that as a content creator as well. And I do still buy games, just for the guys what can have the ability to buy everything what comes out, or has access to things what come out to tell us what not to buy. I will always look out for those guys. So in terms of my channel, I'm not going to really do anything in the terms of news and the latest headlines. I might, if this format goes okay, I might do a little bit more of this where a news article may come up, and I'll just might do a video like this, just discussing my thoughts and feelings on a news article. But the guys out there, especially Without Parole, Brian Paul, Gamescast Live, if you want in your latest up-to-date news, 3 shows a week, and you're going to get all your latest news there. And of course, Jammy Hero, always respect Jammy, and fellow Brit, and he's so on point with his content, and articles come out, and he creates content very quickly and very efficiently. Great production value on his content. So if you're wanting like the latest VR news and things, I can't recommend Without Parole and Jammy Hero enough. And then of course the extended Without Parole community, which will be PSVR Underground AJ, and I'm channeling my inner AJ today. I've got a bit of a bad hair day, so I've put the beanie on, but I definitely paused my game to be here. So I'm channeling my inner AJ, and he's a metalhead as well. And then of course Wes Dillon over at Virtual Strangers. I'm not sure how active Virtual Strangers have been over the last few weeks because Wes has been extremely busy with the launch of Trombone Champ. This is what I'm talking about. I'll get back to that in a second. And then, of course, Miles Dyer, who also works for Impact Reality. Definitely, these guys are my inspiration. This is when I look at content creators, I aspire to be like. That's what I am going for. And I've got so many similar feelings to how they are, and Brian especially. Like, there's not much I don't disagree with on Brian's point of view. Brian's like, the friend I wish I had as a kid, because I think we'd have gotten really well, and we liked a lot of similar things. There's a few things I definitely don't agree with, but it's just personal choices. Everybody's got personal choices, and that's okay in the industry. And that's why I hate console wars, because everybody has a preference and things people like. But I'm a gamer. I love gaming no matter what. Not every game is for every person. Not every format is for every person. But yeah, so that's the thing. Outcast. I got to the party late. The strange thing is that you may have seen I made a kind of an appearance on the show quite a while ago. I wrote a poem about Without Parole, and it was an ode without parole, and it was like it was kind of like clip of the week kind of thing when they started doing clip of the week, and they put that at the end of the credits, and they put me on there, and it was just, yeah, I found the Without Parole community, and it was about a month or two before the launch of PlayStation VR 2, because I was in a very much of a lull situation. I missed so much on PSVR 1. I was mainly playing No Man's Sky, Saints Sinners, Chapter 1, of course, and Skyrim. Those three games were virtually all I played for like the last 2.5 years in the lead up to PlayStation VR 2. And I now know how many great titles I missed on PlayStation VR 1, because I had if you saw my Windlands review, I had a misconception of indie games. When I thought of indie games, and don't get me wrong, when I said things like Thomas is Alone. Now, Thomas is Alone is, I kind of got it. It wasn't really my thing, but I know a lot of people loved it and actually felt a lot of emotion for the story of that game. But I thought indie games were like old games like Thomas was Alone or 2D side scrollers. That's what I thought indie games were. And until I got into this wider VR community and started doing content myself and talking to developers, looking at what else is out there, I've realized that is not what indie games are. There's so many games I absolutely adore on PlayStation VR 2, which are indie games. But in my head, it's not what I thought indie games were. And it's just, yeah, I really thought it was Enter the Gungeon and that kind of thing. Yeah, the PSVR 1 is definitely underrated. And at the moment it's just hiding out a shot. Oh, and you knock my camera off it. It's right there. I've got to go it wide back up at the moment. I wired that back up for my Spooktober live streams, which kind of got derailed for a smaller period of time. But I'm still going to go back. I am planning on doing a bit more content, but it's one of those, once you start doing this yourself, you want to support other creators. And whenever I see anybody I follow online, of course, I've mentioned Jammer Hero, I mentioned all the Without Parole crew. I do watch Gamertag. I don't always agree with GT's point of view. I do find it can be a little harsh on things at times, but sometimes he can be actually on the point with being harsh. But I do hear he's a great guy, and he puts a lot of work into his channel, and he's definitely on the rise. So, but I respect him as a content creator, and I'd love to meet the guy. I'd love to talk to the guy. But there's some things. It's like something just like, oh, that's a little bit below the bar, and it's like it can really hit home with stuff. But anyway, so I do watch GT. I also big respect for Beardo Benjo. I know he does mainly a lot of like PCVR and Unreal. Reese, thanks for dropping in, man. Yeah, and of course, can't mention other inspirations within the industry than the Crossbutton VR guys. So Games with T, Reese, and then of course Laurie and Alex, which I had the absolute pleasure of spending the day with at EGX a few weeks ago. And this was I was doing my Spooktober lineup, and I played something which I was a little bit drunk at the time, and I don't know if a few of you may have caught that live stream for Very Bad Dreams. It just whatever it just didn't sit right with me, that game, and it depressed me, and it really did. It depressed the hell out of me, and I actually took the stream down because I wasn't happy with it. It's not the kind of content I want to make. I tried to be upbeat about stuff. Hey, the wife's in the chat. Hello, wifey. Say hello to the wife, everybody. She's just in the other room listening to me yabber on. But yeah, I was in quite a low point, and the lead up to the EGX, I was feeling very, I was in depression. Was I do suffer from depression, and us men should talk about this more. Um, but yeah, I was feeling very low, and I was feeling very anxious about going to the EGX because I'd never done a big show like this before, and of course I'd been chatting with Games with Tea with Reese, and said he was going to meet up with me, and he took me under his wing for the day, and I really can't thank those guys, especially Reese, enough for just allowing me to spend the day with him. I met some amazing content creators, some really interesting people, game developers. Met Hibbins from the lead from SciTech Games. I met John Hibbins. I met Callum Hurley, who's obviously their PR guy, and big respect for Callum because I got my key for Windlands off Callum and talked to him, and the work they're doing is fantastic. And then I met the guys from Tiny Brains as well, and I've actually managed to get a key for another game to look into when I did. I keep forgetting the name now. Yes, Strike Rush on the Quest 3, and of course Reese. Reese has talked kind of because I had at the time I had a pre-order for the PlayStation VR for the PS5 Pro, but then Reese kind of kept talking about the Quest all day and the benefits of the Quest, and I went home. I basically that night I put out a poll online to see what people think I should do, and most people did vote for the Quest, but I'd already at that point I'd already decided I was not going to get the Pro, and I was going to change it for a Quest, and it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I do thank Reese for this because the Pros obviously starting a few more benefits are coming in for PlayStation VR 2, but at the moment there's still not enough taking advantage of that hardware. And there's some stuff like you can see right here, Happy Funland, for example. Vertigo 2 is high. No, it's Madison. Hang on, it's like card Jenga. That's Crossfire. I've got Vertigo 2 somewhere. Vertigo 2 is here somewhere. But anyway, Vertigo 2 is in there. And the raw power of the consoles made those games better in the frame rate. But problem is, as you can see, I've got virtually all my Perp games are disc copies. And in the UK, we couldn't get the disc drive. And I don't know if any of the guys, I don't know if, because I think Laurie got his Pro, didn't he, as well, Reese? But I don't know if he managed to get a disc drive because I just couldn't find one because all the touts had bought them. And that would have been another £100 on top of that. So I was instantly going to be locked out of quite a few of my PSVR games anyway. So it just didn't make logical sense for me to buy a Pro at launch without being able to get an hard drive. And the price of the Quest was reduced because I paid $429 for it for the 512 model. And I'm loving it. It's great to have that choice. I still love my PlayStation VR 2. Do not get me wrong. I still think this is a better headset. It's that once you've experienced the haptics, adaptive triggers on the PlayStation VR 2, I can't go back. Certain games, of course, you've still got the mirror because of the lenses. Now, if this had bloody pancake lenses, but I don't know if you can get pancake OLEDs, because if you could get pancake OLEDs, I don't know if that's even a thing. Because I'm not a technical guy, but that would be fantastic. The greater disk drive situation is ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm just loving the Quest. I like that option. I've my best friend here. I've got some content recorded actually. We're playing a bit of Galaxy Kart the other day, and I've actually managed, because I don't see him very often. It's on, he's most of my friends are up in Yorkshire, but he lives actually in Wolverhampton. And if you see my latest videos I've just uploaded for the bands I've just been to see, which was Union Underground, Head PE, Non-Point, and Soil. And that was with my best mate, and a great night out. But it may be like once or twice a year I do get to see him. But it's one of those, it's like when I go to Download Festival, I see friends I only see like once a year, but it's like the next day. Things haven't changed other than we've got a bit older. But since I got the Quest, I've actually managed to game with him a hell of a lot recently, and we've been playing Demio, and it's been really good to just sit down. And when you're doing content creation, it's really hard sometimes to put time aside to play multiplayer with friends. It's just been really nice with the Quest just to be able to sit down and just chat to him in a game and get on with stuff. Ah, okay. So yeah, the pancake lenses massively decrease the amount of light they let through. So yeah, the clarity, you can't knock the clarity on the Quest, but the couple of games I've played, what I've got on both platforms, namely, it's like Trombone Champ though. I must admit, I played Trombone Champ first on the Quest, and then I've only just on my live stream done on the PlayStation VR 2 version. Visually, and probably I will say, but the colours are probably like more vibrant on the PlayStation, but it's still they both look pretty bloody good. It looks good, and the clarity on the Quest, and it's probably a slight increase in the colour boost, but what they've done on both versions, it's really hard to tell any difference. Of course, with the PlayStation VR 2 version, the haptics make a difference. That running out of breath and getting headset rumble is crazy, but it's the attention to detail they didn't need to do. And if you've not already bought Trombone Champ Unflattened, go buy it. Whatever platform you're on, go buy Trombone Champ. It is fantastic. Oh yeah, so Reese just said, but yeah, Alex got the disc drive, but Laurie's still struggling. Yeah, it's terrible. Touts. That was the thing. The PlayStation 5 launched during the pandemic, and I was still working nights, but a different job to what I'm doing now. And it was really straight. It was kind of fortunate working nights because a lot of the stock for a lot of websites got released at like stupid o'clock, like 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was timing my breaks to go out when the stock things were happening on on Amazon, on Game, and I was just like Amazon Argos, and I was constantly refreshing and constantly refreshing. And then it was one night at work I managed to get the PS5, and yeah, I really hope all these fucking arseholes, these scum of the earth people, I hope they're sat on a fucking mountain of PS5s they can't sell now. I really do hope they've lost money on it, you fucking leeches. Get a life, you dirty wankers. Sorry, I've got to do it. It's just, yeah, it just grinds my gears. People like that really taking advantage. It's like ticket touts. It's kind of like, genuine people want to enjoy anything in life. Don't take advantage of it. Don't be a dick. Should be the number one rule. When you're born, you get born. As soon as you can read or as soon as you can understand things what are being told to you, the number one rule to life is don't be a dick. It's simple as that. Don't be a dick. That's my philosophy. Don't be a dick. It's like I can really, really get off on one. Yeah, and then Reese is just saying, going back to EGX, absolute pleasure to hang around with you and introduce you to various people. And yeah, I was feeling down, but so glad it made me feel better. And yeah, dude, you did. Um, Seriously, if I'd gone to that on my own, and it wasn't a great event. There wasn't a lot, especially for VR. It was more like a Comic Con and a selling convention. With a lot of things for sale. Um, but I wanted if I'd gone on my own, I wouldn't even known about the VR showcase because you told me about the VR showcase, and then I went and met obviously the SciTech guys, and then talking to the guys right here as well. This is what I'm kind of looking forward to. Big shout out for the so it's reality syndrome symphony, which is Amelia's Escape. It's an escape room well, because there was only like 3 VR stands at the EGX. One was for the Roto VR chair, and I managed to jump in that first thing in the morning just before anybody turned up. I only tried that with the epic roller coasters, but then I know, of course, Laurie and Reese jumped in and played some Batman on there. So that was kind of good, but it was more advertising the chair than it was like, advertising games. The only other 2 games were for Amelia's Escape, which I didn't get a chance to play, but I have been talking to Rupert, the developer. I've been having a few email chats with him. And it was actually during EGX, I was talking to him about the game and I could see people playing it. And I noticed it was only teleportation, movement, and click turning. And I actually said to it, and is initially Steam release. It should be getting a native Quest release pretty quickly after that. But he does want to bring to PlayStation VR 2 in the future if he can. And I said to him, I said, dude, if you can, put in the option for free movement. It's great to have teleport. It's great to have click turning. Having options is good. But if you can put in free movement and smooth turning as well as options, the people coming to look at your game, the reviewers, will definitely thank you for it, because they will mark you down for not having the options. And in recent emails I've had, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying so just to advertise his game, but he says yes, they've put that in. They've now got smooth movement, because I think Laurie said he played it on one of the Crossbutton podcasts. I think he said he played it, but we'll be pleased to know. But it has now got smooth movement and smooth walking and smooth rotation. Big, massive thing. It's a great. I think any developer, options are always king. I always say options are king. Get those options in there, because if you can cater to more people, the better. Some people need the teleportation. Some people need click turning. As a VR veteran myself, I like to call myself a veteran. I don't like the comfort options. I turn them all off. No blinders, everything. I want it to throw me about in VR. I want it to make me feel queasy. If I don't feel queasy, well, not much what makes me feel queasy these days, but I don't, I want to be thrown about. I want to be really immersed in the game. And it's so great, but he's listened to that. And a few people mentioned to it as well. And he says it was pretty easy to implement. So it's getting released on Steam VR. I'm hoping I can either get access to that. Rupert, if you are watching, I don't know if you are watching, but I have been talking to him, so hopefully I should be able to get access to that. And I found out the other day when I'm getting off on the topic. I was talking about Trombone Champ a bit ago, but I'll get back to things. But when I got my Quest, just thought I'd try the wireless Steam Link to see if it worked. And it was the same weekend Half-Life 2 was free on Steam, which I just added to the library anyway, because it was free. So I've added it to the library. I don't particularly use Steam, but I've added it, and I thought I'd try the wireless, and it kind of worked on the Quest. It looked pretty shit. It was kind of washed out and pixelated in a lot of places, but it kind of worked. So then I actually bought a cheap link cable just to see if a link cable would make any difference. And actually, the link cable does make it better. It's still not fantastic. It's still not the highest quality, but it's totally playable. I can happily play it. I turn the frame rate down to about 72 frames, because unless frame rate really dips and really chugs, it doesn't bother me too much these days, frame rates. But of course, the higher the native frame rate, the better. But I've set it to 72 to not put too much strain on my PC, because I've only got a 1650 card in there, so it's not a high PC at all. So I'm surprised it even ran. But it was totally playable. It's the detail up close was good, but things in the distance were a little bit pixelated. And the minimum specs for Amelia's Escape is not that high. And even Rupert said his PC is not that high. So he said I shouldn't have a trouble. So hopefully that'll run on my PC, and I'll actually do my first ever Steam review as well. So that'd be quite cool. And then going back to EGX again, the other one, I don't know if you can see this one, Sight Unseen. I ain't got an autofocusing camera. That was a very intriguing one, and I've tried to contact them. They're on Twitter. Not many followers on Twitter, and it's the Pi Games, which is PEI, which is Pretty Interesting Experiences, and it's a group of students from a college what have made the first game, and it's a very quite short game, but the concept is really strange, and it's going to be an interesting one. For if it's coming to Quest, it's going to be really interesting how people are going to capture footage, because not like me at all, getting off on subject. Cheers, love. So Sight Unseen, the premise is you're like an android, and one of your eyes, and the only thing what I can think of anything similar would be another fisherman's tail, where you can chuck your head and your hands away, but you can take your eye out and you can throw it like through a vent or down the corridor, and then you get a separate camera, so it actually splits both the lenses in the headset. So your left eye is looking normally, and the right eye would be whatever your right eye is seeing, whatever it is. Or you can put it into like a vision which does like a mesh overlay, so you can see hidden traps and buttons and things. Now, when you're recording on a Quest, you select which eye you're recording from. So it's going to be really interesting how to capture the footage. So I don't know if there's a way to record via PC to show both eyes without it being. So generally you see it as like two eyes on an image, which probably doesn't make interesting content. So it's going to be interesting how to make content out of that. Whether you would just show this eye on the footage, or because the game's quite short. It's literally like 15-20 minutes long. So whether you play through and record one footage, then play through kind of doing the exact same thing but the other, and do a mix of footage, I'm really interested to see how people will cover it at all. But when I asked how long it was, and they said about anybody with legs could probably get through in about 10-15 minutes. And I said, well, what's your price point? And went free. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So for free, it's definitely worth one to check out. It's definitely an interesting experience. I've not played anything like that in VR before. I think the reason they're going for that is they're just kind of showcasing their talent as developers and different people involved, the artists, the programmers, and just showing that they can come up with these ideas, and they're trying to put themselves out there after college, university, and get work. And as it's definitely something different. So I really do wish these guys well, and when it becomes available, I'll definitely give them a shout out. I'll definitely try to cover the footage. I just want to try to cover everything VR, but that's mainly what you're going to see on my channel, is me trying to cover stuff. As you probably notice, No Man's Sky is my biggest content I do. It's the game. No Man's Sky is the reason my backlog is so terrible. It really is. Every time I play it and there's new content comes out, it just sucks you in. That is probably the only reason right now I would love a Pro, because apparently how it looks on a Pro is pretty fucking sweet. And I didn't expect it not to look pretty sweet, because I was playing it on the PS4 Pro. I never played it on the bog standard PlayStation 4. I never played it on the Pro. And the difference on there compared to the base PS4 was quite a lot. And then the difference playing the PS4 version on a PS5 compared to a Pro was a massive leap. So imagine what the PS5 version on a PS, I can understand that leap and the talent behind that studio. I really do love No Man's Sky. It is absolutely fantastic. But I've got so much recorded. I've got a lot of Quest footage. I've not put out many Quest videos so far. I've got a lot of Quest footage, which I've recorded, and I'm editing. I've got a couple more parts of my playthrough of Metro, because I did my live stream originally, and so I love doing live streams. I do love doing live streams, but I've got to the point. I can happily do like an hour and a half, 2 hour live stream. That's fine, but I do find 2 hour contents more difficult for people to sit back and enjoy. So when I come do my recorded videos, I was doing recorded videos, and initially we're putting out videos about an hour long. And again, it's quite long form content, and you see when you get into analytics, and I hate analytics. Because I'm an analytical person. I really do analyze shit like way too much, or I overanalyze myself, and you can get really wrapped up into that. And the retention is like average viewing duration is like it just dies off a cliff. It's and I've started to find if I can keep the content around 30 minutes, I generally do get better engagement. I do think 20 to 30 minutes is a good level, and have it as more like bite-sized episodes. So what I've just done is I've already released part 3 of my Metro walkthrough. It's my first play. I've not completed it all. I'm just playing through for the first time on the hardest difficulty as well. Not regretting that yet, but there's been a few moments that it's like you can die really quickly on there. But I basically sat down and I did play for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I played for the same amount of time as if I was doing a live stream, and I talk like I am doing now, like I do a live stream. Um, but then I've just broken that down into like 3 little bite-sized chunks. So yeah, Fluke, that's all right. Is it a PS5 version you've got? Is it the PS5 disc? Because I don't know. Yeah, it's probably even if you had the PS4 and did the free upgrade, that would probably still require you to put the disc in, wouldn't it? Yeah. Um, yeah, actually, I didn't get it. No Man's Sky was like the first time I ever got burnt by a pre-order. That was the first time, and the second time I got burnt was Switchback VR. So I am now in the camp of don't pre-order. You know, I'm lucky. I'm really, I find myself privileged to be in a position where I'm getting keys and access to games. It's something I will never ever take for granted. I'll also never sugarcoat shit because I've just got access to it. I will be mindful. I will be more considerate. I'm not going to say, oh, this is the worst fucking game in the world. They all need to go and die. I'm not that kind of YouTuber. I don't believe in that. I always believe in being constructive with any criticism. It's like, oh, could they do this? They really need to do this, or this is not really good. I don't believe in sensationalism, clickbaited stuff like that. I don't like. It's not the kind of content I want to create. I try to be fair, but yeah, I mean, it's a privileged position to be in to access games early. But I still do order games, and there's certain things I'll still always pre-order. It's like I was going to pre-order Silent Hill, and I kind of wish I did, but it was expensive for a start, and the backlog was so big. I didn't really want to stop to play a flat screen game. It's like I was just hoping for thing. I think the next game, what is going to get me back to flat screen, will be Metal Gear Delta, Metal Gear 3 the remake. That's probably the next one. So I know I'm going to love Silent Hill, but I'm probably just going to buy it when it's a bit cheaper. But probably Metal Gear because I do love the Metal Gear games. But all the time I'm going to be thinking, shit, why is that not in VR? Give us VR modes, please. Uh, oh yeah, GTV, yeah, GT Gran Turismo, GTVR. Oh, yeah, Fluke, Final Fantasy games. Yeah, since I've got the PlayStation VR 2, there's only 3 games I've stopped to play flat screen, and 2 of those were Final Fantasy games, 16 and 7 Rebirth. The only and you probably hate me for this, but I've still not finished Rebirth. I've got right to the end. I know I'm towards the end. I'm just avoiding spoilers, but you go out in the adventure. I'm just about to head back to those who have completed it. I'm about to head back to the Gold Saucer, which I know is the end of the game. I don't know the details, but I do know that's where it kind of ends. And I've still not finished it. It's like something came out, or I got access to a game because I got to a certain point on the channel, and it's terrible. My backlog is so bad, and the only things at the moment I'm finishing is the games I'm either getting access to before launch, because if I get access to a game before launch, I will play that game to finish it to get a review done for the embargo. That's the least I can do if I'm getting it before launch, is getting it completed so I can get the review done for the embargo lifting. That's the minimum I can do for that benefit of being able to get access to the game early. For games I'm getting kind of on around release, I'll generally do like a live stream. So Trombone Champ, for example, I got kind of just before it launched. But I do plan on doing a review for that. I am going to get that done. I just want to clear the main campaign because then I've seen all the songs then as well. But because I've got such a passion for the Without Parole community and respect for Wes, I do appreciate getting access to that. And hopefully, when the other Factory VR titles come, I'll be able to get access to those as well. So the least I can do is get a full review done for that and put out some coverage. I do want to make some, because I've got access on the Quest as well. I've got a couple of plans and ideas. I've got tons of ideas and plans, but it takes me so long to get around to things at times. But yeah, anything else like Into the Radius, I got Into the Radius on the day of release. I basically got it a minute past launch. The key came through, so I do want to review it, but I've done a live stream with that, and I've done a few other bits of content for that. But I kind of just want to take my time with that and enjoy it, and I keep going back to it, and I will get it finished. Once I have finished, I'll get my review done. But I'm kind of playing it for me as well. But I've done that bit of content already, so for the benefit of getting the key, I wanted to put out some content just to show. But yes, get excited, get this game, and get that initial reaction going for the live stream. But it's harder, and then it's hard to go back to things. I've got so many games I haven't gone back to, so many half-started games, and things I've bought myself as well. I've got so many games I've bought and haven't played. It's like right now, I was going to do like a viewer's choice on gaming tonight. I was going to play something after doing a bit of a chat and about me, or just ramblings of a pickle. This is what I kind of going into anyway. I was thinking about what I've already bought and not played, and I've actually just downloaded and installed Stilt. So instead of doing a viewer's choice, I thought I'll actually just try Stilt after the live stream. So, oh, Outcast, yeah, love and leave you, man. I had a long day at work. Keep it up. Yeah, you too, dude. And seriously, keep up the work you're doing. And I always appreciate you wanting my feedback on your thumbnails. Your thumbnails are fantastic, mate. No matter what, you're putting a lot of it. I put way too much effort into my thumbnails, so I can appreciate the hard work you put into it and the level of, level of production value you're putting into your content, dude. Always just believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself, because we believe in you. You're doing great content. It's fantastic, and you just got to support the VR community. Yeah, dude. All respect. Thank you for stopping in. Do appreciate it, man. Just keep going. All the retro stuff in the background. Luke saying, given all your retro stuff there, you should come and meet a few of the retro in. Yes, it's next weekend, isn't it? So yeah, I did see your post about that, and it is tempting, but it's a little bit of a journey. I'm down in Suffolk, so it's a little bit. Yorkshire was probably not quite as hard to get to. It would have been a bit of a quick journey if I was still in Yorkshire. But I was thinking about it, but it is not so much the cost of the event; it's the cost of travelling there, especially the lead up to Christmas, because I do have to go up to Yorkshire on my birthday as well. So it's saving money for things and trying to get things organised. But I love you too, Outcast. But yeah, I do want to do more of these kind of events, and yeah. So as you can see, I've got the kind of retro stuff, and the signs kind of. The camera's terrible because I can't even on this footage. I can't even see that sign lit up. But see this thing right here. I've just bought this, and me being a tight ass northerner, it's like there's some quite expensive stands you can get and recharging docks. I saw this on Amazon, and obviously made in China kind of business. And I really like the way it looks. The stand for the headset is great. It's cool, and the cradle for here. And what it has the little magnetic USB-C things, and you put it in, and it charges. Problem is, it fucking doesn't. Arseholes. Yeah, it flashes up orange, which is to say it's charging, and then suddenly goes blue, and the lights on the controllers don't even come on. So that is not fucking worth nothing. It lights up. It does light up. That's about the only thing it does. It doesn't actually fucking charge. It lights. There's a plug socket here somewhere. There you go. You can't even see it properly on the stream. There's like a few little. So it's a flashy stand for a tenner, but it does not do the basic function I wanted it for. Because I wanted a stand to put my headset on, but I wanted to be able to just. When I've done with my controllers, I wanted to just put them down and charge. It doesn't do that. It doesn't fucking charge. So you definitely get what you pay for. And a tenner, yeah, not great. But yeah, retro stuff. I do want to do some more retro stuff. So just out of shot, because right here before you would have seen I had my Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and I had my PS1, my PS2, two PS3s on the shelf here. I've got a third one down here because I've got my original fat PS3, still backwards compatible fat PS3, still works apparently. It's been reflowed. I've reflowed that with a heat gun. That's the scariest shit I've ever done. When you take a console apart and you've got the motherboard in your hand and you're taking a heat gun to it and it's like and it's cooling down. You can hear cracking noises. Scary as fuck that shit. But I've reflowed it twice. It probably needs the solder doing completely now. It needs the solder doing completely. But it still works. And I do plan to get back on there because there's another Discord I'm part of, Destination Home. So everybody keeps saying, especially in the VR community, the PlayStation community, what Sony needs is a social hub because we don't have it. You know, you've got obviously you've got games like Gorilla Tag now, which is kind of a social thing, but we don't even have bloody fucking what's it, Rec Room. We don't even have a Rec Room on PSVR 2. You know, there's a PS5 version of it, but we don't even have it. We need, and then there's so many spaces like that because you've got VR chat on, of course, on Quest and PC. Banter. I actually quite liked Banter. I think that's quite good for the developers if they do things like launch events like they did the other night with Trombone Champ. But we don't have a social hub like, you know, Meta Horizons. PlayStation Home would be that perfect fucking place, which should be hybrid in itself. You know, reinstate it as it originally was, because it was ahead of its time. It really was ahead of its time on the PS3. And I loved Home. I've met so many people on Home. Great system, and just launched into games from there as well. And then the special events and the event space they had up, advertising games. Such a great concept, which was ahead of its time, and that is now what everybody else is trying to do, is what PlayStation Home already did years ago. But then it was seen as a failure and just took offline. Well, there's a bunch of guys on called Destination Home. If you look up Destination Home, they've recreated Home, and it is a live service. It's live. You can play it, and all you need is, of course, you do need a PS3, what has got the custom firmware installed. So you do need custom firmware on a PS3, and you can get access to their servers. And what they've done is they've got a lot of volunteers, a lot of people have dumped the raw data off their consoles, and then they've basically read that data and recreated virtually all of it, all the event space, the special events they had, everything, all your in-game items, all recreated. And you can, I think you've still got to be able to. I think you've still got to submit some data for you to participate. So if you've got an old console like I have, which has got PlayStation Home data still on there, because it's still on that console, I know it is. All you do is custom firmware. You can then back up that into a file, send it to the guys, and then they will give you the details to access PlayStation Home. I've got it on my Discord, and they're doing events, so they have weddings and all sorts in there. I get notifications all the time on my Discord with all these different events, and I really want to partake in it. But it's the effort of doing it. It's the effort of getting that wire back up, getting custom firmware sorted out, getting the files off. It's things I always plan to do, but I'll get there eventually. I always get round to the point eventually. It's the same reason I've got an arcade machine in my shed, and I want to build a MAME cabinet. I've got PCs and all emulators, all the ROMs. I've got back catalogue of all the ROMs, and I want to build a MAME arcade cabinet. I've had the cabinet set in my shed for 10 years. I've not got round to it yet, but I will do one day. Don't worry, I will get round to it eventually. Endream did a lot of stuff on PlayStation Home back in the day, and now into VR. Yeah, but I've seen a few things recently, and a few people saying, but especially with the new advert for PlayStation VR 2, I just hope it's just not, oh, we better do something, you know, because it's a great advert and they've got some great titles in there. I hope next year Sony finally get their shit together, because I love Sony. We all love Sony, but sometimes you hate Sony, but we love what they make, but they don't celebrate it enough. They don't shout it enough. You know, we want the PS3 era Sony back. You know, when the PS3 originally launched, and there was how you killed your brand. You know, that's the phrase song someone made, the parody song. But the middle to the back end of the PlayStation 3's life cycle, that was such a fucking powerhouse dominant console, and Sony was on it. We want that Sony. We want Sony shouting and bawling, saying we're fucking awesome. Come and check our shit out, because that's PlayStation VR 2 is awesome. Come and check our shit out. It's with guys like, you know, the Without Parole guys, the Crossbutton guys, you know, all these big content creators, and even little ones like myself, we're shouting from the rooftops about how fantastic it is and how fantastic the games are. But Sony just isn't like listening to us, or maybe not listening to us, you know. I like to think that they will, and they do see things like this. And I know apparently Brian's blacklisted, but I know the latest Gamescast was what they was actually listening to us. Look at this new intro, new video. I want Sony to really kick it off into high gear, and this hybrid strategy they started off talking about, but it's kind of like fell by the wayside a little bit. There's so many big games. I you know, Silent Hill, a prime example. It's a Blooper Team as well, and they've done VR games. Why not a hybrid game? And of course, it can be modded because it's Unreal Engine on PC with proper motion controls. But at the bare minimum, I would have been perfectly happy with a third person mode. I really would have done. Of course, first person for that kind of game, because we know we're Resident Evil, first person would be fucking amazing. But the bare minimum, surely it can't take a lot to get a system what would just inject that into, so you're in the environment, because you can turn the camera, but it's like you can look around, but you're just looking at your character. All the time I was playing Final Fantasy 16, I was thinking, God, these icon battles would be fantastic to just see the explosions going off all around the world. But I'm happy to see my character there and play with a pad. I would have been fine with that, because I don't think a Final Fantasy game needs to be first person. I don't think it does. I'm just happy to be in that world, to be kind of following the character's journey and looking at them, you know. And I've said this before on stream, but I'm a firm believer that PlayStation VR 2 would have fixed Final Fantasy Rebirth's issues, because Final Fantasy Rebirth's issues with the pop-up, the textures, you know, it was not a technically great representation of the console, because it was pushing the limits and it pushed them beyond breaking point in a lot of places. But I think with dynamic foveated rendering, that would have fixed it in PSVR 2. It would have run buttery smooth. It was only rendering the textures what you're looking at, but I was still being happy with third person VR with a controller. It would have fixed it, and it would have been a brilliant experience. But as I said, I kind of just rambling on, aren't I? That's it was a new format, and like I said, I'm trying something new. But yeah. Anyway, a little bit about me. So I kind of started talking about me at the start, didn't I? And then I kind of got onto shit. But as you can see, my gaming heritage. It's like, oh yes, I was talking about on Twitter. I saw some. A bit like Billy Connolly. If anybody likes Billy Connolly will start a show and he'll start telling a joke, and then an hour and a half later he'll get back to the punchline of the original joke. So that's kind of how I rabbit on, and I do forget things quite easily, because I get excited. I get excited by things. But I saw a post on Twitter, and it was like, oh, what is it? Over 25s only. Are you a gamer? And it's like, and loads of people saying, yeah, I'm 30 here, 45 here, and like, and it's kind of, it seems to be a thing. I don't know if it's a millennial thing, you know, kids, but you're too old for games. You should grow up. Grow up. Get fucked with yourself. You know, I was playing video games when you weren't even fucking a sperm. Shut your face. You know, it's like, you don't grow out of video games. It's like, oh, games are for kids. No, they're not. It's like, I'm not going to give a 7-year-old fucking Resident Evil Village, am I? Here you go, son. Get yourself into this video game. It's fantastic. You'll really enjoy yourself. My face is getting fucking torn off by a werewolf. No, you know, you don't. It's the same way films. You don't think, you know, films, or it's all Disney stuff. It's like, yeah, well, even stuff on Disney where you're getting fucking faces torn off nowadays. You know, American Horror Stories on Disney, for fuck's sake, and that's some sick shit on there. But it's age appropriate. There's always age appropriate things, and I'm an older gamer, and I like such a wide variety of games these days. I do love my mature games, and I love horror. I do love horror games. I think VR is the perfect format for horror. It's just, you are in the horror movie. You feel that apprehensive, that tension. It's like you feel scared, but you're in there. But I think these people what are thinking you're too old, and we've got to understand But people my age, so mid to late 40s, people in the 50s, we're the people what basically invented the games industry as it is now. The minds what are in the late 40s and into the 50s, they are the games. They made the game industry. The people my age and the people in the 50s as well. We created it. We came up with these ideas. It's like there was kids in the 80s. Some people I really respect in the games industry were kids my age making games in the bedroom on Commodore 64s and Spectrum 1 to 8Ks. I've got a Spectrum up in the cupboard over there. So, in fact, yeah, here we go. Some nostalgia for you. If I can reach it. Hang on. I've got to move my homebrew out of the way. Gotta find this. Oh, it's not going to come down. Get that out of the way. It's here somewhere. God, I wedged it in there. I don't know if I've got it in there. Well, it's trapped. You have to take my word for it. I can't get in the fucking cupboard. I've got like a cupboard in the corner here. It's basically it's got a beer fridge. There's a beer fridge in here. I've got 2 homebrew kits on the go. And there's a big beer fridge. And in the top of the cupboard is I've got all my Guitar Hero stuff. All my drum sets up there, wedged up in the top. There's a sleeping bag. There's all my download shit. But I've got a Sinclair Spectrum anyway. Yes. I don't think mine works. I do think I've blown it up. I think I plugged the wrong power source into it when I was younger. And it might have gone pop. But I've still got it. I know it might not work. Same with this. I think this Super Nintendo. I don't think this Super Nintendo works. Because my Super Nintendo, I don't even know where I got this one from. It's very yellow. This is from a very smoky household. It might be one of my friends what gave it me. I'm not sure. But my Super Nintendo, I sold. Fucking, if you're talking about game regrets, I'm going off on a tangent again. When the PSP came out, I can reach that one. I can reach one PSP. I've got another one somewhere. There we go. 2 PSPs. When the PSP came out, then originally the Memory Stick Pro Duo, you could only get the official Sony one, and for a 1 gig stick was 100 quid. 100 quid. It was 99 quid for a 1 gig Memory Stick Pro Duo, and I sold loads of stuff off, and it was around that. Was it around that time? What am I thinking of before? That was me selling Secret of Mana actually. I sold loads of PS1, PS2 games, and some box Super Nintendo games, and I actually sold my mint copy of. I regret it to fuck Secret of Mana, and that it's not about the monetary value and what it's worth now, because that is worth like 80 to 90 quid at least these days. And I got 20 quid in trade for it, which is more than any of the latest PS2 games I had, and I regret doing that. But I also, another point, I was low on money. I can't remember what I was saving up for. But I had a Super Nintendo, and I had a Super Wild Card. And now the Super Wild Card was basically a yes. And nowadays, and then suddenly, like, you could get a SanDisk I got a SanDisk 4 gigabyte one years later for like 20 quid. And it's like fucking ridiculous. I've got so many memory cards for that, because I like it does homebrew. I'll just say that, shall I? Anyway, which is why I've got a box copy of Grand Theft Auto Vice City, not Vice City Stories, Grand Theft Auto Stories. Was it not Vice City Stories? Liberty City Stories. Because there's an exploit you can use with that game. So that's why I've got a copy of that. But yeah, the prices were ridiculous back there. But what was I talking about? Oh yes, the Super Wild Card. So the Super Wild Card was basically a backup device for the Super Nintendo. Amiga games, dude, I've got one to hand. I've got one to hand, and the other one I should get out as well. Here you go. Here's an Amiga game for you, right there. So the reason this game's there, because this is my slight claim to fame, because this game, and if you ever played a game called Crystal Dragon, which was kind of like a dungeon crawler, a game's done by one of my uncles. So that is my only claim to fame. Is one of my uncles used to make video games. Crystal Dynamics, I think the company was called. Because originally he told me when the first rumours of the PS1 came out, when it was still called the PSX, he told me like a bit before it even got announced properly. But he says this thing's coming and it's going to be good. It's going to be huge, and you know that's obviously when my PlayStation journey really started from hearing about that. But I've still got quite a few Amiga games. I think I've still got. Weird enough, I was looking up a screenshot the other day because it was on Blue Sky, and people were saying introduce yourself with 4 video games. So I did Treasure Island Dizzy, Secret of Monkey Island, Maniac Mansion, and Secret of Mana. You know that's 4 games there. What just say so much about me and my taste. And I love Monkey Island. That box copy of Monkey Island currently goes for at least, I've seen like, I was trying to find an image just to post an image of the game art, and it came up with eBay. People are selling that for over fucking £100. It's like, yeah. Yeah, I'd love it, but I'd also want to spend money on things I used to own as well for a fraction of the price. I don't get rid of stuff nowadays. I'm a hoarder. I don't get rid of stuff. Strangely enough, I was just kind of scouring quite a few years ago. I was scouring through Gumtree, and I found a listing for a Philips video pack. Now, in the UK, we knew it as the Philips video pack. In America, it's the Odyssey 2. So you'll probably hear about old consoles, and the Odyssey 2 you'll hear about quite a lot. But in the UK, it was rebranded as the Philips video pack. So I don't know if it was a deal with Philips to manufacture over in Europe. But I'd seen this on sale, and the only thing what piqued my interest was the Philips video pack came out the month I was born. So it came out in 1978, and I wanted to own one. I'm not even ever trying to wire it up yet. And it's got a couple of games with it and old controllers, but I just wanted to own one, and it was like £25 for this thing. And it's the same seller. I'd seen another advert that they were selling a box full of Commodore 64 games, and they wanted like 60-70 quid for these Commodore 64 games. So I contacted them and went round to buy this Philips video pack. So I'll go around there. And they're, oh, why are you here? Oh, we've got these games we're trying to sell as well. I said, oh yeah, I saw the advert, but I don't have that much money on me. And because like it was 25 quid once of the Philips video pack. And I said, I don't have that kind of money. So, well, what have you got? And I had 50 quid on me. That was the total amount I had, was 50 quid in my wallet. So, well, I've got 50 quid on me. And he goes, go on then, you can fucking have them. So I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. So I've got all these Commodore 64 cassettes. And in that box, CDI, yeah. In that box of games, there's a couple of games in there what are worth quite a bit on their own. One of them is Ninja 2, and I'm pretty sure it's got the Ninja mask in there and the Ninja throwing star. I'm sure there's a fucking Ninja throwing star. It definitely got the Ninja mask in there. But we used to get Ninja stars. It's a proper metal fucking Ninja star. It came with video games. You couldn't do that these days, could you? That's gaming gone on for you. But yeah, it's just great. So many great memories of gaming, and of course, going back to being too old for gaming, like we nurtured. We've gone through the pain. Kids these days, instant loading games, SSDs, and instant access, and always on games. Don't know how good they've got it. We used to load from floppy disks, from cassettes, and it used to take half an hour, and it might fail, and I've got to start again. You used to have to go and play and go outside while the game was loading. They don't know how good it is. I do want to kind of sit down and do some do some Spectrum emulators at some point and show some of the games I've played. I do want to kind of create that kind of content. But there's so many modern things I'm behind on, let alone doing retro stuff as well. I've got a HDMI adapter for my PS2 to plug that into HDMI. It's probably going to look terrible without an upscaler, but it's probably an easy way to get it onto a modern TV without it like just looking absolutely fucking awful. And I actually have got my PS2 does have a hard drive in there, but you apparently can happily put in a laptop hard drive as well. So I've got quite a high capacity laptop drive. It's in there. It's like it's a very old like 3.5 hard drive, and it's probably like a 20 gig or a 40 gig hard drive in there. Not big at all. But I've got from the years of changing over to SSDs on PS4s and stuff. I've got some old, 200 gig hard drives lying around. I want to put that in and just put a load of games onto the hard drive. Favorite Amiga soundtrack? Uh, I'd probably say Monkey Island because Monkey Island's always the game what I come back to on Amiga. Yeah, I'd probably say Monkey Island because it had a good soundtrack as far as I remember on there. Um, Other than that, the Dizzy games, coming from the Spectrum and the Commodore, the Dizzy games, Treasure Island Dizzy, always love the music on that. And it was when you look back at it now, it wasn't a very long track. It was repeated, but it never bothered us as kids. It really didn't bother us. And I just love the catchy music. Um, but the thing with Monkey Island, because it changes throughout the story and the different overtures and when LeChuck was coming in and things like that. Um, but yeah, so I probably would say that. But point and click adventures, I loved point and click adventures. It's kind of like my bread and butter. I grew up on those kind of adventure games. I used to do the text adventure games. Used to get them on magazines each week or each month. The Long Way Home was on one of the Spectrum magazines, and it was a text adventure. Like you used to get The Hobbit, and you're in a clearing. There's some frozen, some stone trolls. There's exits to the north, east, and there's a table, and you've got an examine table, and you'd be able to get the exact wording. That's the kind of stuff what used to keep me entertained for hours. I used to write those games as well. That's my big thing. If I could go back and to little Craig, it's like keep writing those games, dude, and teach him some self defense to beat up the fucking bullies, and stay in school, get the grades, keep writing the games. I could have been in the industry. I wish I was in this industry. I love the industry. I'd love to make video games, and I'm an ideas guy. I'm not a coder. I'm not a graphic artist. I can come up. I could come up with the ideas and the basis and maybe some scenarios and things like that. Um, Pretty much I can probably storytell a little bit, because I do write a few things here and there, poetry wise. But yeah, I do wish I was in the industry. I think if I right now, if I could get into the industry, I think the only thing I think I could fit into would be PR. Would be doing PR. Point and click adventures. This is from Fluke, by the way. I do have to have to get it. I've just recently looked. I can get a plugin. 'Cause I'm using OBS. And get a plugin to put the chat on screen. I do need to get that sorted and get the chat on screen. But Fluke Rogue is saying, yeah, point and click. Back when you used to talk about how to solve a puzzle with your mates at school, or hope the situation was in a magazine. Exactly. Word of mouth. That was how you found out games were good. And it's like, oh, I'm stuck on this game. And it's like, you're playing it and then you go to school the next day and like you've got a friend, oh, I've just got to that bit and oh yes, I did this. And yeah, and then you go home and like you're so excited. Then it's like the rest of the day at school, it's like can't wait to go home and try to figure this out, And then multiplayer sessions, couch co-op, multiplayer sessions like that. I remember when I first got a multi-tap for the Super Nintendo and playing Bomberman, 4-player Bomberman. Fuck, that was just insane fun. And I just always remember that. And was Mario Kart 4? Mario Kart was 4-player split screen, right? Pretty sure Mario Kart was 4-player split screen. Yeah? On Super Nintendo? Yeah, pretty sure it was. But yeah, just some good days. And then even magazines, you write a game which probably only like 10 minutes long or something, but you'd take you like 6 hours to type it in, and it'd come up and didn't do a great deal anyway or something like that. But demo tapes and things, the industry was rapidly growing, and people made a lot of money back then. Manic Miner cheat codes, yeah. other games back there, School Days and Back to School. I always remember those games. See, a game like that, right? It's such a simple. I don't know who even owns the. Can't even remember who the developer was that for that. So I kind of need to look this up now. And it's spelled SKOOL Days, isn't it? Let's have a look. School Days came out in 1984. That's where I need to put. I don't even know if I've got a thing set up here. Publisher Microsphere. So yeah, and the designers was David and Helen Reedy and Keith Warrington. So it's not even like it's not even really a development studio. It's just like some designers and the publishers. It was kind of weird back then. So I always remember like the Dizzy games was you always come across as the Oliver Twins and Codemasters. Codemasters published those games. That's why I kind of fell in love with anything Codemasters came out with, and I just assumed, because I loved Dizzy games so much, when I saw the Codemasters name, I just always assumed it was going to be something I loved. But yeah, School Days was something like that. It could be really interesting as a VR game. Actually spending the day in school and kind of causing mischief and trying to get up to stuff. And yeah, could make an interesting game, I think. But just video gaming throughout I grew up on the Spectrum, the Commodores, of course, Atari. I never actually owned an Atari myself. I never owned the 2600. It was my cousin what owned it, and we wouldn't always see eye to eye. So I've got two cousins from one of my uncles, Deborah and Darren. Deborah and Darren, of course, very Yorkshire. Deborah and Darren, and Deborah was only born a couple of weeks after me, so we're the same age within a couple of weeks. And there's apparently when we were babies, and I've never seen this photo. My family keeps saying there's a photo of me and our Deborah as kids, and we look like twins. And I've got, as growing up, like I always found I got on with her with fine because she always gave as good as she got. So we've never fallen out. We've never fell out because you always know, if you try to do ribbon, you'll get exact same back, and it's fine. But me and Darren had a few fallouts over the years, but he's also the one that had the Commodore, Commodore 64. He had the Atari, so it's kind of like a good because I wanted to play on these because we didn't have those. But then, a few mad is it's mine. Go on, piss off. It's like I fell out with you. You're not playing anymore. It's kind of a few of those at times, but. I always appreciate, but I got to play those. My wife actually has a Commodore 64 at her mum's up in the attic. I'd love to get my hands on it. I really would love my hands. Yeah, I'd love to meet the Oliver twins. Fluke saying they go to a lot of extra events, and just the York folk community for people what just live on the York folk stuff. I'd love to see Dizzy come back. I really would. I know they tried doing it a while ago, but I don't know if it quite works. But yeah, I love those games. The storytelling, there's just a great storytelling. Like the first game was kind of like just very kind of basic platform with very minimalistic kind of story involved in it. Just kind of, I can't even remember the thing. Just kind of rescue someone. Oh, there's a dragon involved. I can't remember on that one. It was Treasure Island Dizzy, the second game, what always got me. Now, and the thing with Treasure Island Dizzy was that was so hard because there was only one life. You made one mistake and it was game over. So really, I would challenge any youngster to try to complete that game because I think I've only cleared it like once or twice at most because it takes quite a while. It's a good couple of hours long, which back in those days was a long time to get through a game because you could really be scratching your head and just stood still and go out and play for a bit and come back and try to figure out what you're doing next. But the story I always found with that is they were writing the game and then they got so far into the development process. And the original game, you had 3 lives. And when they came to put in the life system into Treasure Island Dizzy, it broke the game. And no matter what they did, they couldn't fix it. So they just basically, that was it. You got a single life to complete the game. And that was part of its challenge. But because of the way dizzy was, and when you jumped, it just do a forward roll, and it always move forward a certain amount of blocks, and it was so easy to just because you could drown yourself in water, until you got the snorkel, and then or there was fire or spike traps. It was so easy to miss just a jump and roll and die. But games were hard back then as well. There's so many games I didn't complete. Dan Dare comes to mind as a shooter kind of thing. Jet Set Willy. I've never completed Jet Set Willy. That game still eludes me. That's so fucking hard. Newt, thanks for joining. Just joined the chat. Thank you very much. We're just talking old school gaming at the moment. I probably got off on a tangent about Trombone Champ back at the start, but I've been going over an hour. But it's I like to rabbit on occasionally, and hopefully it's entertaining. But just wanted to kind of celebrate and say thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Hey, and Reese is back in the room. Yeah, I'm still rabbiting on, Reese. We're talking about old school games now. Games you couldn't complete and they were so hard. And nowadays games are really easy. But anyway, moving on. Obviously, Spectrum Commodores into the Amiga. Same again. I had a friend. I never actually owned a Commodore Amiga myself, and I had a friend. Well, wasn't one of the popular kids. I wasn't one of the popular kids at school either. But he was definitely a weirdish chap. Don't know if he watches my channel, but I won't say his name just in case. He'll probably know who I'm talking about. If he was to watch this stream, he would know instantly who I'm talking about. But he was the one for the Amiga, and I was kind of. I'm not saying I was friends with him just because I had an Amiga, because we got on well anyway, and we liked a lot of the same video game stuff. It's just that he was that kind of only child syndrome and got the newest shit. So he did have it and we did hang out, even though it could annoy me on occasion, quite a few occasions. But I always used to go down to his and play the Commodore Amiga, and yeah, it's a game I always remember. I'd love to go back and play it. Legend of Carandia, which was another point-and-click adventure, and the kind of the animation of the time as well is just games like that kind of stick with you. But then going on into the console era, and got the NES, of course, was my first console. I never owned a Master System, and then from the NES, of course, went to the Super Nintendo. But at that point, because I'd been running the NES for a while, and the first time I saw, there was more than one. See, Fluke just said he loves the Carandia games, but yeah, I only ever played the first one. So yeah, with the Jester, wasn't it? The Jester. I can't. I always remember the game. I just can't remember much about the game because it was so long ago. I was like, oh, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that. Oh, you want that? It was a tenner. That was from Meadowhall in Sheffield. It's a place. I think they changed the name of it. It used to be like the Last Picture Show, but it's now like a geek retreat or something. It's called. They've got like keyblades, from Kingdom Hearts and all sorts of memorabilia. My wife got herself a Mandalorian mug, the Kids with Me mug, and I got a glass. Still, I didn't not used it. I just wanted it. I've even because I did get this as well because I got the tote bag for The Last of Us Part 2, and it's very divided on that game because it is definitely a game what divides a lot of people. But I understand the game. I understand what they were trying to do, and without spoilers it's probably a bit late now anyway, but without spoilers, the way I always say it is with Last of Us 2 is it makes you ask the question is, what is a bad guy? Oh yeah, my wife's saying she loves that mug, and Reese saying he's actually got a firefly tattoo. Yes, cool. But yeah, it makes you question what is a villain. villain is always a point of view. If you look at The Walking Dead, for example. So The Walking Dead, before they meet Negan, they get told, but there's some bad guys and they're holed up in this place, and they've been coming and taking all their resources and killing people if they don't comply, which was the saviors. So Rick and the people we all love, they decide to go and take care of these guys. But in the middle of the night, they basically go and kill a load of saviors in this outpost in the middle of the night. And like we think he's done a good thing because he killed some bad guys. But if we'd started seeing the story from like Negan's point of view or something, or from a savior's point of view, Rick's the guy what just suddenly appeared out of nowhere and killed a lot of people in the sleep for fuck all. So Rick's the bad guy. And that's the thing with The Last of Us Part 2, is it makes you question, what makes a bad guy, what makes a bad person? And I won't say more about it. All I will say, there's going to be a lot of fucking upset people in season 2 of the TV series. That's all I'll say. They have a prize from the glass in the tote bag. Well, priceless, mate, priceless. Yeah, I like collecting stuff, and like I've got such a backlog. I've still got such a backlog that I can't pass up a deal. And I know they might not be the best of games, but I've just killed 2 of them. But I've just bought that. And digitally, when you're buying these games, they're on the store for $15.99 each. And I think I've heard, but Tin Arts has got some problems. I haven't tried it. Tin Arts has got some technical problems, maybe. I'm not sure. But The Last Worker, people said it's fun to be hard. It's kind of like feels like an Amazon worker in a factory. But it's got like one of those annoying companion robots what's talking in your ear all the time. But that bundle normally sells for it's about £35, I think. So no, it's about £32. And the games are like £15.99 each on the digital store. And that box set was 22 quid. So I thought 22 quid, 11 quid each for box copies of games to add to my collection. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I'll get a stream out of them or some content out of them at some point. But again, in there, I've got those 2, which I haven't even, obviously, I've only got that last couple of days. I've got Happy Funland. I've only just took the wrapper off that. But I'm not even installed this. So I love perp games. But especially, it comes with a lovely little postcard for Happy Funland. And then it comes with a lot of box copy of games, even the big titles, don't come with fuck all these days. Don't even come with manuals these days. And this is why I love perp games, because even though it's simplistic, just in the box here, a postcard and a map of the park. And I like this stuff. I like physical media. I still love physical media. Madison was the same. I won this copy from Perp Games. And that comes with a little photo of Elizabeth. There we go. And then we've got this death certificate. And then you've got Luca's scrapbook, which you find the drawings from in the game as well. So that's really cool. But yeah, I like physical media. I like collecting things. I like having a collection. And that's, like I said, one of the biggest reasons why like virtually everything I've got is perp in here. So obviously I've got Madison, Happy Funland, Crossfire, these are all perp, Vertigo 2, Song in the Smoke Rekindled, VR Skater, and then I've got Light Brigade, that's also perp. I bought a copy of Arcade Paradise. Now Arcade Paradise on disc is not you don't I think you can pay an upgrade fee for it, but of course I got access to it from the review. But I love that game so much, Arcade Paradise VR, and I don't think from that disc, I don't think you can get a direct upgrade or anything from it anyway. But because I love the game so much, I kind of wanted to give something back to the devs. So I saw that at a pretty low price. I think I paid like a tenner for it or something like that. I want to think 10 or 12 quid. which is really not a lot at all. And because I love the game so much, I wanted to give something back to the devs and the publishers just for giving me access to that game. And it looks nice on my shelf. I might never even play that flat screen version, but I wanted to support it because I like physical media. I do love physical media. I've also got Resident Evil 4 on disc as well. And yeah, I'm getting a bit of a collection going. But yeah, and then gaming, yeah, like I was going to the Super Nintendo, and that gets me back to, yeah, I was getting to that point. Getting to the Super Nintendo, I get back to another point I was making. I had the Super Wildcard because I was talking about the memory stick price for the PSP, and I had for there the Super Wildcard, which was a pirating system for the Super Nintendo, which was like near enough as big, as thick as the Super Nintendo was, but not quite as wide, slotted into the cartridge slot. And then in the top, you would put your cartridge, and in the side was a 3.5 floppy disk drive. And you basically backed up the ROMs of the game onto floppy disks. And I had over 200 odd games for the Super Nintendo. I had like a lot of the catalog. I used to be like I got this thing and used to go to this shop in Goldthorpe in Rotherham, and you basically used to go behind in the back room or behind the shop, and the guy would open his boot in his car, and he had all these disc box, and you'd just be flipping through the disc boxes, you know, and it was basically charging £1 a game. But even that was like late 80s, early 90s, something like that. Yeah, early 90s, yeah, early 90s. But £1 a game when most of the proper full releases were 30 to 40 quid. You know, they were the prices of cartridges for back in those days. It was still expensive. So £1 a game, and it's like it was unbelievable how much money you could spend on stuff you didn't even know you would want to play. But found some great titles on there, and that's where I fell in love with. I first played Secret of Mana, but then I'd seen a box copy, and I wanted to own the box copy anyway. I wanted that game, so I bought it. Because yeah, piracy is bad, everybody. Piracy is bad. Don't want to do piracy. But I sold that and my Super Nintendo, and I think I got like 75, 80 quid on eBay for it. And it was a time when I needed some money, and it was a lot of money for me back then. But it's like one of my biggest fucking regrets. One of my biggest regrets. That's why I don't get rid of anything now. I'd love to own that thing again, because it's you look on eBay, and that thing alone goes for around 100 quid on its own. But they vary in price from 100 to 200 quid, those things. Not to mention the 200 odd games I had for it, you know, and then the actual Super Nintendo I had with it. Because I think this one, as far as I remember, last time I tried using that console, I think the Mode 7 chip, is that what it's called? The one what did the Polygon 3D graphics. I think it kind of got a bug in it, and you got a lot of graphical glitches on a lot of games. Yeah, piracy was rampant back in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, working class England though, it was so hard to kind of you wanted to play the latest things your friends were playing, and you know we didn't have a lot of money growing up. We didn't, you know. I got myself a I became a milkman when I was in my teens and doing this paper round and things like that, because I wanted to earn money to do stuff for myself as well and buy things, and that's when I started buying my own games really. But you know, there's only so much your parents could do for me and buy things. So you know, when things like that came up and someone says, I can do this for you, and it's kind of it's so easy to do it, and it's not, you don't mean to do it, you don't understand what it does cost to the industry, but it's one of those, it's so hard, and it's things now. It's like if I see a copy of something at a good price, I'll pick it up, you know, because stuff I might have had backups of back in the day, but I would rather own the original nowadays as well if I can get all the things. But I'm sat on a lot of stuff. But my biggest collection at the moment, really, I've got like this bottom shelf. I've got so many, you know, I don't know, about 20 PS2 games there. My PS3 library is probably my biggest library I've got in physical collections. I've got a lot of that. My PSP library is like 2 discs. So yeah, enough said about that library. And then my PS4 library is pretty decent. In fact, no, I can see my PSP games. What have I got? I've got for some reason I've got 2 copies of Liberty City Stories. I've got Me and My Katamari and Need for Speed Most Wanted 501. That's the PSP games I've got on UMD. But I love collector's edition stuff. I love box copies. It's like I've got the deluxe edition of both Final Fantasy Remake and Rebirth. I've got the deluxe ones of those. Spent way too much money on those, although not as much as the actual collectors with the figurine. I know I've got a friend what bought that for the Sephiroth figurine. I know how much that thing cost. I think it was like 350 quid here in the UK if you wanted one of those. It's a lot of money. Fluke was saying, but he had more than one box of 3.5 floppies back then. Yeah, it was so easy. But the good thing about that is because I had a few friends what did get some of the latest games when they came out. So, and all you had to do is put the cartridge, because obviously I was buying these discs off this guy in the shop, but all you had to do is slot the cartridge in, and then that's it. But the same back in the days as the Spectrum and the Commodore, you could pirate the games from on a hi-fi on a stereo system with 2 tape decks. You put a blank tape in one, put the other tape in the other, press record and play together on the blank one, press play on the other one, turn the volume down for the all the bloody the data loading, and you let it copy. So it's kind of like someone got a new game. It's like, and then that's it. It went round school, and I'll do you a copy of that, and you pass the games got passed around. That's how it kind of went. Yeah, Commodores. This is how old we are. Research was getting in there, but that's piracy was such a massive thing. But see, I always remember back going to the Commodore Amiga, and I think it was Monkey Island. You had a lot of games coming, and obviously in the box was these big, massive, thick manuals back in the day, and you used to get the random word generator things to stop piracy, because there was no internet back then either, and it was so hard to get hold of a copy of these books, whereas now you could just look up anything online and easily find cheats and things. But you used to load the game, you could pirate the game, you could copy it straight away on the disc or the cassette, but then you load it and it says, right, turn to page 64, and what on the fourth line of the 6th paragraph, what word is it? And you had to type the exact word. And it's like it could use anything in the entire manual or something. That was how they had to combat piracy back then. Or I remember, did I ever go to a computer club back then? Or you could all you could hear was the bong sound effect of the X copy on the Amiga. Yeah, I remember X copy on the Amiga. Yeah, the bong, it's done. But yeah, I can remember. I think it was one of the Monkey Island games. It might be the second one, but it was like a little picture disc, and it was one of those with the different faces. You spun different sections of the disc, and it showed you different images as you spun the disc, and that was part of the copyright protection, was to do that. See, that could make a comeback, but I don't think there's much in the way of piracy these days. Last time I remember piracy being a big thing was, for me, was the 360, and that's why my 360 was banned. Because I played what I think at the time was it Forza 3. I think I played it like the day before it was supposed to come out, and obviously it registered on my I wasn't online when I did it, but it registered on my console. But I played it and what the date is, and then as soon as I connected to online, basically it took like a day later. I turned my console on and went bonk. You're fucking banned. Banhammer. Yeah. The code decipher wheels. But yeah, that was the kind of last kind of piracy thing I did. And I only got the 360 because we used to go in LAN parties with friends, and we used to play a lot of games what were LAN party enabled. Call of Duty, Forza 2 especially, online. those kind of games. And I got one for that, but I was big into the PS3 system, and I wasn't going to buy games I already bought again. So I'd bought like the Call of Duties and stuff on PlayStation, but I wasn't going to buy the exact same fucking game on the Xbox. So I did get that done, and I did get some copies of games on there because they've already had my money. They've had my money, so I'm entitled to that game, right? I've paid for that game. That's how it works, right? But yeah, I don't condone piracy, but um, back when I was younger and I didn't have a lot of money, it was kind of it was sometimes it was the only way I could play some things, or you always felt like you were getting left behind as well. But yeah, luckily I did have good friends, and my best mate Dave as well. He was one of the first ones to get a Super Nintendo. I think he was one of the first kids in our school to get a Super Nintendo. Um, and he got an import, a Japanese import. I don't know how his fucking parents managed to get hold of it for him because it wasn't easy to get that stuff back then. But he got a Japanese import of Street Fighter 2, and obviously we'd seen it in the the arcades and stuff at the time. And Street Fighter 2, and he got a Japanese import of that, which you had to. It was weird because you had to get an adapter. So even though obviously the UK version of the Super Nintendo is exactly the same as the Japanese Famicom, whereas the American Super Nintendo is that boxy square fucking thing. But our cartridges were identical to the Japanese ones, but you still couldn't just plug them in. It didn't work that way. You had to get another cartridge what plugged in. You plugged your import game in the top, and you had to put a UK game in the back. It had two cartridge slots in this adapter. So it basically used a chip off of the UK one to decode the Japanese one to make it play, and it was same for the American ones. Because I remember my copy of the only Zelda game what matters in my opinion, Zelda 3, Link to the Past. The only Zelda. After that, I lost interest. None of this fucking new Zelda business. Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. None of that, and all these fucking Wind Wakers or whatever it is these days. But that was the last Zelda game I cared about. That was the be all and end all. I love that game. And I had actually managed to get an American copy of that. And it was square, so I had to use one of the adapters. Because yeah, I didn't. Even though I had the copy system, I actually had the original game of that because I loved it so much. Um, but yeah, it was so hard to get all the things like that. But like no one would believe him at school. They're saying I've got a Super Nintendo, and it's like I've got Street Fighter. And like no, you fucking liar, chinny beard, chinny beard. That used to be a thing. I don't know if that's around other regions in the UK, but if you were lying and people, or people didn't believe you were telling the truth, it's like, oh, I've got an itchy beard. Oh yeah, you're telling the truth, aren't you? I don't even know the origin of itchy beard, but chinny beard, itchy beard. It's like, I mean, I've got an itchy beard because I've got a big beard. But that was the thing where you're lying, and no one believed. So he had to take in he took in the booklet to prove him all the night. They couldn't believe, but he actually had it. So yeah, just that and the GameCube. I actually didn't get the GameCube till well after it came out. And again, I sold some stuff. I traded. This was absolutely the last time I traded anything in. I traded some games on there, and uh, Resident, uh, I had Resident Evil 0, I think, on there. Uh, I think I had the remake, but I had Metal Gear Twin Snakes, which was the remake of the kind of remake of the first game with Metal Gear 2's system in it. Um, and it's for me that was the definitive version of that game. Anyway, I loved it. And I sold that. I traded it in. I probably got like a 10 or 12 quid for it. And that game, I've seen CEX selling that game for fucking like 70, 80 quid. Because they know the worth of the games. They're leeches. Sometimes you can get a good deal in there, stuff that they might not have realised yet. Or know it's worth a bit more, or it's a good game. But when they see something rare, they will price it accordingly. They can be terrible for that. And that's probably the last time I remember selling anything, was selling those couple of games. The only thing I've actually got for the GameCube is right down here, actually. I have got, I've actually got the Legend of Zelda collection, which is, let's have a look. Oh, this is actually Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, which is the original NES versions. Look, promotional disc. I think I found this in a charity shop for like £1. I was in a charity shop, and if I see video games in charity shop for £1 or £2, I'll generally buy them because this is what you can end up with. So this is probably not even supposed to have been sent out as to buy. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's got the original Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, the NES ones, the kind of scrolling one, and then it's got Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which I've still not played. I've never played. I've briefly played Ocarina of Time, or I always say it wrong, Ocarina of Time, and I know people raved about it, but it's like it just. I think it was that move to the 3D environments. I think it looks shit. I think the polygon art, I didn't like it. It was, it kind of lost its charm a bit. It looked, rough. It might have been a great game, but it didn't look great back then. But so I own that. I've got James Bond Agent Under Fire, which I also got from a charity shop. And then I've also got a game I've still yet to finish. I have still yet to finish it. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which I did buy when it came out on PS4. So I've got the PS, which runs on the PS5, and I've still not even. I started playing it again, which has got multiplayer, which is great. Because the thing with this is you could play multiplayer, and I actually got my my Game Boy SP, that edition. I actually got that. I nearly dropped it. I got that because with the link cable, you can plug it into the Gamecube, and it's a map. It's basically a mini map. So, and otherwise, you didn't have a map of the dungeons. But that's the way it used to work on the original game. Is you plugged in your Game Boy, and it was a mini map. It was crazy. And then you could actually play multiplayer that way as well. You could play same screen multiplayer with someone actually using a Game Boy as a pad. I think I'm sure you could do it that way. Yeah, Crystal Chronicles is a different type of game completely. And it's like you go out on the quest. It's like basically just a series of dungeons, and then you go to these trees, and you've got to fill this chalice, which because there's like a fog miasma or something across the planet, and you carry this crystal chalice, and you're basically going out for your village to fill up this cup, which regenerates your tree, which protects the village, and then it takes a couple of years for the trees you've already harvested to kind of re-inhabit, so you go further and further each year on the journey, and then there's all these different dungeons. But it's 4-player co-op online as well, so I'd love to actually play some more of that. I really would. It's one of those. It's difficult on your own. It is a difficult game to play on your own because if you're playing solo, you've got a Moogle what follows you along, and he can carry this chalice. But this chalice you've always got to take with you throughout the dungeon because it creates a sphere around you what protects you. So you can't leave it. So it's kind of very close quarters, but it's that kind of action RPG. So you're walking along, hacking and slashing and stuff, not turn-based. It's action RPG. So imagine like Secret of Mana style kind of game. But the Moogle will carry the chalice for you, but he'll only carry it for a very short period of time, and then he'll drop it. So a lot of times you've got to drop it, and then you've got to start attacking stuff, and then you've got to pick it back up again. And you're walking. Whereas if you're playing multiplayer, you can kind of take it in turns. One person can be just like the chalice holder for a bit while you go and deal with some stuff, and then you can take it in turns. So it does lend itself to being multiplayer quite well, but it is a cooperative type game. But I think last time I was playing it on the PS4 version, I probably only got I think I got to year 3, so I was probably further than I ever got on the GameCube version. But yeah, because definitely started using between us. But yeah, that's the only GameCube versions I've got. I've actually only got, speaking of Zelda again, the only NES game I've got, because again I've lost stuff over the years, and the box is battered to hell. I've got the original gold cartridge. So the cartridge itself is mint condition. The box is, as you can see, it's a little bit tattered. But and it's got £7 on that, and that is not worth £7. I can tell you that much. Even in a battered box, that is not worth £7. It's worth quite a lot more than £7. It's the only NES one I do own. I'm kind of gutted because I did have Maniac Mansion. I wish I had my box copy of Maniac Mansion. I love that game. But other than that, yeah, all my PS3 games. I never did any. Because obviously, I said I had the 360, which was I had backups on, but my PS3 was never hacked. Got all my original PS3 games. Like I've got a copy of Borderlands. I've got 2 copies of Borderlands 2. I've got 2 copies of Borderlands the pre-sequel, and then I've got obviously the Handsome Jack collection, and I've got 2 copies of Borderlands 3 because me and my wife were playing. So yeah, because I bought a box copy. If I bought the digital one, like I do with a lot of my games nowadays, when I buy digitally, like No Man's Sky, I bought No Man's Sky digital, so my wife can play with me because I'm set up as the primary user on a console. She can access my games. But with a box copy, you've got to buy 2 box copies. So Borderlands, because we kind of really started playing a lot of Borderlands games together. But yeah, so it's kind of I bought more copies. I love Borderlands. I do love Borderlands. And again, I bought Borderlands VR. Ooh, I miss this. Yeah, she can hear me talking about her. She's in the chat. But yeah, we love it. It's obviously my wife still plays a lot of Final Fantasy 14 online. Our entire free company on Final Fantasy is we are the Vault Hunters, and she is Princess Fluffybutt. She is the fluffiest. And I am Balthazar, but I was Balthazar Tigertail. But I've also got characters. I've got Badass Mr. Toad. I think we've both got Mad Moxies on some of the servers because we've got multiple characters we have. I've got Sir Reginald von Bartlesby. She's got Smushy Snuggle Bikes as well. She's got a few, and I've got Felicia Sexor Pants, I think. I don't know, but yeah. So we like a Borderlands. I want them to do another one in VR, and I know Borderlands 4 is going to be coming sooner or later, but whether or not it's going to have VR, you know, I'd be happy to. Look, I bought Borderlands 2 now. I bought it fucking 3 times already. I bought 2 disc copies, and I bought the VR version. And I'd still buy a fucking price of like 40 quid. I'd still pay 40 quid for Borderlands 2 VR again, but proper VR Borderlands this time with multiplayer. None of this badass motherfucker time, Banff time or whatever it was. It's just the stupidest system. It's like you took away what made Borderlands brilliant, which was the multiplayer. The multiplayer on Borderlands was what fucking made Borderlands great. I remember one of the LAN parties we used to go back to in the day, and it's when the first game came out, and one of the guys had nicknamed it the Borderland. Shapeshifter, the anomalous game cat is in the house. Hey, hippie, was running into you. Shit, I thought it was you. I'm sorry, Shapeshifter, and we were playing Galaxy Kart the other day, and you were on PlayStation, and you joined, and you probably didn't hear us. I was only just figured out the voice chat settings because we were in a call with me and my friend and my best mate. But then on the quest, it's like I dropped the call, but then when he joined the game, it redid a call on its own on the quest, and I didn't realize. So I could hear you, but you couldn't hear us because there's an option for on the call menu for in call or in app, and once we pressed in app, it changed to our voice in the game. Because if you're recording on Quest as well, you've got to be actually in the app, not in a call, because calls don't record. It will record my voice if I'm recording footage, but it won't record anybody else on the call. So I've only just figured out how to do that. So yeah, I really do appreciate those races. Some really good racing. I've got some good footage. But yeah, because I won one of the tournaments, you won one of the tournaments, but it was I think both of those as well because I think we were joint on points, but I think because like you won the last race, so it gives you the overall tournament win, even though we're at the same points, and I think it did the same for me. And then after you did, Dave Skinny Pickle, he finally won a tournament as well. But I love Galaxy Kart. I really do love Galaxy Kart, and it's great. It runs well on the Quest. It does run well. but it is not a patch on what it runs like on the PlayStation, and especially with a wheel. You can't. I can't beat using it. Yeah, I could hear you, shapeshifter. We could hear you. We could hear you talking. But it's because it's because the way the quest was set up. Because I invited Dave to the game, it instantly joined a call I didn't realize. So even I could hear you, but we couldn't realize you couldn't hear us because we didn't realize we were on a private call and not actually in-game voice chat. But we finally figured it out. So next time we'll have to organise a game. But yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, once you've played Galaxy Kart with a wheel, just nothing compares. And it's like I was teaching my mate as well because he was started off using the virtual steering wheel, but after a race or two doing that with your controllers while you're aiming, it's it's hard and tiring keeping your hand in this kind of position in VR for too long when it's not quite kind of natural. So on the Quest, I've reverted to using the virtual joystick. So just a virtual joystick, hold the grip button, and you just basically tilt the joystick left and right to steer. It was just a lot easier. Yeah. So just on it showed us because when in the lobby, it showed in the lobby for me in the playlist on the tablet. You could see the Quest symbol for me and Skinny Pickle, and then you had the PlayStation logo against your name. So I knew you were on PlayStation. Um, But yeah, it's I've just managed to get access on there as well, so I'm gathering some footage. I want to get a full review for that as well, because I've done a bit of footage, a bit of coverage for Galaxy Kart, but I've just got access to Skyclimb on there as well, because I was struggling to play Skyclimb when it came out to do a review, because as you can see, I don't, there's that wall, there's that wall, I don't have a lot of room in here at all. Um, So a game like Skyclimb is kind of difficult to play in here. But since I just started playing on the Quest, I've actually, even though you can do all the airplane movements, and I can now move into another room because the Quest is just so easy to go and play in another room where you need a bit more space. Um, I've actually just started trying out the actual joystick controls, and the joystick controls on Skyclimb work really well actually. So instead of like flinging yourself off a block or aiming to glide in the air, you can do a lot with the thumbstick. So it's actually quite versatile. So I do want to get through that because I've told I love VR Monkey. VR Monkey are great. I do want to always support VR Monkey, and I appreciate it. But they've given me access to the to Skyclimb on both platforms, and I've just got access to Galaxy Kart. So I do want to put out some full reviews for them because I have got that access. But Dash Dash World, I know Brian always talks about Dash Dash World. I'm not sure if it ever came out on PlayStation. Uh, let's have a look. Because it's on Quest, isn't it? Is it on Quest? I don't know. I'm trying to look it up. Here we go. Yeah, it is on Quest. It's on Steam. I'm trying to see where's the wiki. Where's the Wikipedia? It's definitely on Quest and Steam, as far as I know. Don't think it actually did. It come to PSVR 2? PSVR 1? I don't think it did. I don't think it was. It doesn't look like it. There's a result on Reddit here saying the best kart racer on PSVR. Did Dash Dash World ever come out? And someone saying touring karts were the best game. And I'm pretty sure that was terrible, wasn't it? I'm not sure. Never tried it. But we need driving games, and it's like I know the guys have been playing Exo Cars. I've not actually tried to get a key for Exo Cars. I know they've played that, and it's got. They're saying it's definitely got some fun aspects to it. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's we kind of want MotorStorm. That's what we need. Something like MotorStorm, and I need some rally games. We need more driving games, which is why I'm after the such polish Flat to VR Studios, going back to another subject again. Such polish but Flat to VR Studios have put on Trombone Champ. It really makes. Well, yeah, it's on Steam apparently. When I googled it, it's on Steam. Well, I've had a drunk tonight. I've been too busy talking. It's like I've been going for nearly 2 hours, haven't I? It's like this is what I get. I was going to play some games, but it's kind of just turned into it's getting a bit late to do a game at this point as well. But yeah. Anyway, cheers. I'm kind of enjoying this more than I thought I would do. I was kind of a bit nervous about doing just a sit and a chat with Pickle for something completely different on the channel, but yeah, it's nice having people stop in and just talking video games. And as you probably see from my streams, I'll talk things and get off topic. And I like to just rabbit on. I like get me talking video games, and I'm happy. That's when I'm at my happiest is if I'm talking about video games. But yeah, the level of polish but Flat VR Studios have put on Trombone Champ really is hopeful for Flat Out VR. I actually do have a box copy of that. In fact, yeah, I've got some PS2 games in the other room actually. But as I say box copy. I mean box copy. A boxed edition of it. Yes, a box copy of that game. But it's like I've still got my Final Fantasy on original down here. You know, got my 10.2 on original. I've got, of course, I've got the most important. If you're gonna, I don't own many PS1 games on original anymore. But if we're doing collector stuff again, this is where nothing comes out properly. It's all wedged in here. Oh, God, how did I get these in here? So if you're going to own any PS1 games, there's only 2 games what really you should have in your collection. Number 1, that is the ultimate game to have in your PS1 collection. The original 3-disc bad boy. And then number 2. And I still always remember there was a bit when it's like contact me on the channel, how do I contact this person? And it's actually it's in the disc art somewhere. Oops, when one of the discs just fell out because the box isn't great. This has actually got 3 discs. This is actually a 3-disc edition. Of course, you've got disc 1, yeah, disc 2, and then the special missions is on disc 3. But there's somewhere in the instruction manual. In fact, this doesn't. I don't actually have the instruction manual for this. That's the fucking thing what's gone missing. I've got the games. The game's fine. The box is cracked, as you can see, but I've got it. It does explain. Only just saw a globe icon above both your heads. Didn't realise. Oh yes. Okay, on the game. Yes, Safe was talking about. He only saw a globe icon on his names. So yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah. Did you see a PlayStation symbol against your own name? Because then it probably would have. Yeah, if we're both on PlayStation, it probably showed PlayStation maybe. But yeah, those are the 2 games you should own on there. And of course, I've also got Time Crisis. I've got a few on here. V-Rally, Simpsons Wrestling. If you're going old school, Gran Turismo 2. Look at that, 50 pence. I picked that up not so long ago. 50 pence in a charity shop. I'm pretty sure that is fucking worth more than 50 pence. I've also got Resident Evil Nemesis down here and Broken Sword, going back to point and click games again. And of course, there's one game not a lot of people may have played because they're not supposed to have played it because this game never got released. Thrill Kill. Hell hath no fury like Thrill Kill. So, this game got banned, and I own and it is expect no imitation, because that's the only way you can get this game is by owning it this way. But Thrill Kill, for those that don't know, is a 4-player beat 'em up game, and imagine Mortal Kombat, but lewd and sexual orientated. That's what Thrill Kill is. Because you've got like, was it Belladonna? She's a dominatrix, and she had like one of her moves was slap and tickle, and also she had a whip. And you had Cletus the cannibal, which had a severed leg as a weapon. And then your finishing moves, you would disembowel them, eat them, fuck them, I don't know, some weird kind of shit. But if you look on the internet, because this was with it, God, I think this is that oldest piece of paper as well. Here's a list of. It kind of looks like it's in 3D. It's in weird ink. But here's a list of all, like the thrill kills defaults for the cannibal. It's like Cletus wipes his mouth, then pounces on you and eats your face. Or you've got the head cup, which is just special plus L1. Cletus rips your head off, then tilts it back and drinks the blood from your severed neck. And then there's a death move here. Nothing beats a great pair of legs. Cletus throws his leg down, then throws you down, rips off your legs, and uses it as a new weapon. So, I love how it just describes the death movie as well. Or Maruka was like, she had like claw hands and like sharp teeth. It's like Maruka falls dead on the floor, and when you turn and walk away, she jumps on you from behind and rips your head off. It's just like great. Where's Belladonna? Oh, there's a secret character, the Gimp. There was literally a guy called the Gimp in there. But this was like it was not quite the full alpha build. So they had like an opening cinematic on there, and I think only like three. I think there's like six or eight characters you can play on there, and out of those there was only like three of them actually had the proper endings, which were filmed and the CGI animated. Oh, Damaging Act, thanks for stopping in, man. Do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Do really appreciate you being part of the 200. Thank you very much. But yeah, only about three characters or so had the proper cinematics for the ending, and then there was like a default ending what was played for everybody else. But yeah, Thrill Kill. Just check out some footage, probably some footage online of that game. And the weird thing about that is they put so much game into this, and then like Sony just shut them down, saying, "Fuck no, you're not releasing this game. You can't release this on our platform." I don't know if they were even looking at other formats or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure Sony just shut them down. So the actual game engine became. I thought I had it here somewhere. I do have it. It's right there, other side. I do have a lot of things hanging around. So the game became this game, Wu-Tang, Taste the Pain. And there's some parental information on the back. But that's the game engine, because that was a same 4-player arena fighter, but you're playing as the Wu-Tang Gang with fucking drunky old bastard or whatever the old people are. And, I know Method Man. I know Method Man because I've listened to a bit of Eminem over the years, but or Limp Bizkit and shit. And but yeah, it became that game. So it was still kind of as violent. It wasn't as bloody, and definitely not like sexual oriented, because there was a few, cannibalism and sexual stuff on content in games was always, but you got to look as well, because games like Soul Calibur, well, it's Soul Blade originally on PlayStation. The original release was Soul Blade. Now, if you watch the opening cinematics for Soul Blade or Soul Calibur, the original game, then there's a scene where Sophia, she's in the pool of water, and she's kind of getting up out of the pool of water, and she's just seeing her from the back, and the original shot is her getting out of the water, and it comes to like the lower of her back. So it's not even showing particularly a bum crack or anything. It's just her bare back to the point of where the bum crack would be just under the water. So in Europe, that she's wearing a fucking bathing suit. Why? What? We can't see a bare back. Why did it go? It was so bad for censoring back in, especially in the 90s, early 2000s. Censoring was so bad in Europe. But why? It's not even a butt crack. It's not tits. It's not anything. It's just why do they insist they put a fucking bathing suit on it? Like that's where you want. That's where I got, I got a copy of that game so I could play the one fucking just with this. The only difference was the cinematic was she didn't have the fucking back on it. I think was the other one, was it the same game, the first one again, or was it the second one? But one of the characters has the nunchucks, and it's I can't remember the character's name on there, but for some reason I only remember Sophia because of the naked back. Shoulders are the ultimate taboo. All right, okay. No, but I think the shoulders were still on display. It was like it wasn't even like an armed bathing suit. It was a kind of a strap one, like but it was still a bathing suit. So it's like she's not insinuating she's naked. So, but or she had the hair over her shoulders. I don't know, but it was just a pure fact that it was nearly a bum. But there was one guy and he had the nunchucks originally, and it was changed slightly graphically. Even it looked and played the same as nunchucks, but it became a 3-part staff. It was a staff what bent in the exact same place a nunchuck would be, but you couldn't really physically see the chain because nunchucks were banned in the UK. Well, of course, it's fucking, but what's that got to do with fucking video games? But we've gone through this entire, we went through all the backlash from Grand Theft Auto and the politicians jumping on the bandwagon. And I'll keep going off on Shad-haired harlot. Yes. Remember Linda Lusardi on the artwork for Gladiator in the C64 days? Yes. It was risky back in those days. And they kind of got away with so much, which it wasn't, because it wasn't in the mainstream. But then when video games started becoming more mainstream is when politicians and the fucking, the White House woman, and they all got on the fucking, the big bloody houses and started talking about it. Oh, Grand Theft Auto, they're selling Nick to kids and all this lot. And I'll tell you what, right, and I'll straight away, he's never going to watch my channel, but Alan Titchmarsh, you're a fucking dickhead. Research shit before you start talking about it on your TV show, you fucking knobhead. So there we go, all right? Because I used to like Alan Titchmarsh, as most people in the UK who likes a bit of garden rescue and all this stuff, and coming in, and Charlie's Dimmicks and all that lot. That was good at wholesome television, watching her tits bounce around. But it's like you used to respect him and like the show and things like that. And then he got his talk show, and there was this one episode. Is what I don't normally watch it, but I was watching daytime TV for whatever reason this day, and there was people talking about violent video games, and he was talking about the latest Grand Theft Auto at the time, which might have been probably Grand Theft Auto 4 maybe, around that time. Yeah, it sounds about right. And they're targeting kids, and they're teaching kids how to steal cars, and it's like, no, they're fucking not. There's a big 18 certificate on the box, you fucking prick. It's the parents going into the shops and just buying it for the fucking kids. I've seen it so many times. I've been in a shop myself where, oh, but I want this one. I want Call of Duty, mum. My friends have got it. Little fucking 12-year-old Timmy. It's like, no, little 12-year-old Timmy. You're not playing fucking Call of Duty. It's got an 18 certificate on it. Wait until you're a little bit older. It's like some kids can, be so influenced by this shit, of course, but it's not made for them. It's made for fucking adults. You're not gonna, oh, but all my films have seen The Exorcist, mum. Can I have a copy of it? Oh, of course you can if your friends have got it, lad. It's that fucking mentality. It's like, no, it's content for fucking adults. It's not meant for kids. And anyway, every time I've walked through a fucking parked car and I press fucking triangle, I can't get in the fucking car. How's it teaching me to steal a fucking car? That's the pickle rant for the evening done. Oh dear. Yeah, the Germans had yes, blood. Anything with blood, mate. So Shapeshifter's just said in the chat, Germans had the worst kind of censorship by far in the 90s. Almost every show had green blood. Now, earlier on, I was talking about my uncle what did Rally Championship. He's a graphic artist. He did all the graphics on that, other than the cars, so all the scenery. And then Crystal Dragon, which was the dungeon crawler, for the German release that he did that, he had to edit the game to put green blood in. So I did know firsthand about the censorship in Germany with blood, because they wouldn't show blood. I guess it's probably the same reason they were all on holiday in the fucking 1940s or something. I don't know. But anyway, different subject. But yeah, censorship is weird, and how one thing's acceptable, but is it because it's not acceptable in video games because you're interacting with it? But again, it's and I love one of my brothers, and I don't know if he'll watch. He probably won't. He probably won't watch my content anyway because he thinks everything's VR and it makes him sick. So, but he let my nephew play Grand Theft Auto quite young, and he would have been maybe like 11 or 12 at the time, maybe when he was playing Grand Theft Auto. And when he's in the car with the stepmom, and it's like you don't have to stop at the traffic lights. You can just drive straight on through there. If police come, just drive through that fence, and then you can escape down the garden. That's when you know a kid shouldn't be playing video games that young. When they get to like 15, 16, and you can usually tell if a child's a bit more adult oriented, and you could let them play more adult oriented video games. That's what I would do as parenting, judging how they're developing. But sometimes, yes, there's a reason kids don't play games that young because they can get so involved in it and believe it's real. So these games are not made for everybody, and they are adult content games, which goes back to a topic earlier as well. But you need to grow up, or you're still playing video games after 25. It's kind of like, fuck yes, I am. I'm as long as I'm able, I'm going to be doing this shit. I'm going to be on YouTube, still talking the same bollocks. And well, hopefully, if I get another 45 fucking years, I'm doing all right. But I'm still going to be doing this, and talking about PlayStation fucking 18 beam straight into my retinas, But I'm hoping for holodecks by then. Yeah, surely that's all we ever want as a gamer, right? VR is brilliant. You're in the video game. But fuck me, the ultimate video game would be a holodeck. So that's all we want is a holodeck. Because imagine playing Resident Evil in a fucking holodeck. Oh shit, that would be good, wouldn't it? But then again, it would definitely be like it's like the start of Zombieland. Of course, the first people to go were the fatties. So yeah, it's you've got to be a bit fit to play a holodeck game. I would imagine you can't just be like a little bit on the more portly side, drinking loads of beer, sat in your mum's basement. You can't just put a VR headset and go into the game. But I would love to be running around in an actual video game. It would be fucking cool. Of course, with safety features turned, I don't really want to get chomped or killed and shit. Oh, I think because I've been kind of rabbiting on, just like absolute bollocks for a couple of hours. I was going to do a bit of I was going to play a game afterwards, but I probably might jump on like tomorrow afternoon for an hour or so and play some Stilt. So because I've not played Stilt yet, and I picked it up in the sale, the crazy sale when it was like, was it £2? Well, £1.59, £1.59 Stilt was, wasn't it? Yeah, same again. It's like I'm just looking at what I've bought and I've not even played yet. Let's have a look. It's like, here we go. Put my console on. There we go. You can see me there. You can see what I kind of been playing. It's like I've just installed Stilt. I've only just downloaded it. Of course, I've been playing Trombone Champ. Last night I actually fancied playing some Compound. I probably got further than I've got in Compound, but I totally understand. There was a conversation on Gamescast the other day, and it's like it's a great game. It looks good. It plays well, but there's no platinum trophy. It kills your incentive to play it because it's got no platinum trophy, and it's like if you look at the trophy details, it's basically it's like loop the game, beat the game without taking damage. That's fucking like unlock every weapon. So there's enough trophies there for a platinum. I think Survivor Man had less trophies than that, and that had a platinum. And that was worth it for the platinum alone for a couple of quid. But you could have killed so many enemies with a machine gun, killed so many enemies with a shotgun. There's just easy trophies you can create to add more to your list, and adding a platinum to that would have been such replay value. And it's like I ain't even checked out the trophy list for this. It's got a platinum, it has got a platinum, and I've already got a lot on here. But S on 25 tracks. There's one for doing the. I know that the one that's going to be this is the one. Apparently no one's earned it. No one's got the platinum yet, have they? Yeah, no one's got the platinum. So that is the one. What's yeah, you've got to get all perfectos on turbo mode. It's kind of like, yeah. Other than that, it's like I think I'll easily be able to get all the rest of those. It's just that one's going to be. It's trying to find the slowest song to do it on. Hang on. Wait. Turbo mode trophy is utterly dumb in my opinion. It's genuinely too difficult. Now, I did get a #1 spot last night on God Save the King. I think I knocked you off. I'm not sure. I don't know if you got it on that one, but I got the #1 spot on God Save the King on the simplified mode. I will add on the simplified mode, and that's not that difficult to. I got nearly all perfectos, but it's obviously a bit different on the harder mode. It's because it's a pretty slow song. I ain't tried the turbo mode. I ain't tried the turbo mode to see how crazy it was, but it's a pretty slow song as it stands, but it's so easy to get that miss. Yeah, it's so easy. You've still got a lot of #1 spots though, mate. And Miles has got quite a few #1 spots. And I managed to get #2 spot next to Miles on a few songs last night. So I was doing that. But a good trophy list, it's like platinums. That's the only. So I've done a bit of coverage for Compound. I haven't done a full review, and it's probably one of those. It'll be on the back burner. I'll probably get. So I haven't beat the game yet. So once I beat it, I'll probably knock out a quick review. But I don't. I didn't get access till the day of the launch. And of course you can see I play a lot of No Man's Sky. Been playing some Metro. Played a bit of Arizona Remake again after my disappointing live stream. But I played a bit of the multiplayer with Reese, games with T, and kind of enjoyed it. And then yeah, you can see what I've just basically, as you can see, I've got like how many hours did it say I've got in this? It's like crazy amount of hours. 269 hours in so that's my most played game on PlayStation. It's a Share Factory. It's crazy. No Man's Sky. Well, then again, look, 441 hours. And that's 441 hours in the PS5 version, not including the PS4 version because I never transferred my data. But yeah, and then obviously I played a bit of Dark Roller Coaster, a bit of Retribution. But like after the 4, I've not hardly played that. I've not done any coverage of that on the station. I'm really looking forward to the update for Ancient Dungeon. I think that we're getting the multiplayer is delayed at the moment for the PlayStation. I think it's just about to come out on the Quest and PC and Steam VR, the multiplayer. But they're adding new content out. They're adding some new floors, and that's coming very soon. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Arcade Paradise, I fucking love that game. I do need to go back and get the last couple of trophies. Arizona. Awesome Asteroids, I bought because it was a couple of quid. I've still not even loaded it, not even played it. Beat Saber, I play a little bit of Beat Saber now and again. I prefer Synth Riders. I do prefer Synth Riders. And I think Beat games are missing the fucking beat when they don't have Guest Pass. Guest Pass sells DLC in my opinion. Synth Riders, if you're in with a host who owns all the tracks, you can join it and play those tracks. And then you're like, God, you know what? I really like that. I'm going to go and buy it. It's a great advert for DLC because you're going to get the people who will buy it all the time, all the latest stuff, and then someone tries it and thinks, oh, I fucking really enjoyed that, I want to buy it. It sells DLC. It's a way to try before you buy. Beat Saber doesn't do that shit. Walkabout Media does that. Oh, so okay. Fluke just said, try Awesome Asteroids, see if you can beat my score. Cough. So I assume it's a good score, is it? Shapeshifter just said, oh man, really stoked for Behemoth and Alien, pre-ordered both. Yes, because Behemoth's next week. I do need to get my ass in gear and try to send an email, see if I can get access to it. I'm still small, but I have had access to some, to me, what I think are quite big profile games recently. Like Into the Radius for me was a big profile game, and I got access to that, But yeah, you know, you never know if you don't ask. So I do need to send out emails for both of those. But it's one of those. The physical release was supposed to be coming out because originally the game was supposed to be like last week or something. Then it got pushed back, and then the physical was supposed to be due out just after my birthday, and then that got delayed till like the 28th of the month or something. And then now, if you look on Amazon, I think the box copy is slated for February or something like that. Yes, like late January or February for the box copy. But it's like, if I was going to buy it, I'd want that box copy, but I don't want to wait all that time. It's kind of like, why can you, if you're launching it, why can't you just do it the box copy as well? You know, yeah, I hear the difference. So yeah, if I can't get access, of course, I probably will buy that anyway. And Alien, obviously I want to try to get access. I want to try to get access to do a review and stuff, but unless there's an embargo on there which lets people, you know, put out reviews before the launch, because these embargoes on launch, I think, are a bit cheeky. Now, some games I've played recently have had embargoes for the time the game came out. For example, you know, Trombone Champ, the embargo was the release date, was the time and the release date. But obviously that wasn't a bad game, of course. That was, you know, people had been able to give impressions beforehand, so people already knew that it was going to be a high level polish because those first impression kind of information was out there. But I'm definitely not into pre-ordering anymore, except for, as we were talking earlier, Final Fantasy games, you know, things like the Silent Hills, the you know, the Resident Evils. These are the games I'm going to pre-order. You know, I'm going to pre-order these. You know they're going to be released in a good state, or at least in a state where they'll fix shit very quickly. I mean, I just realised I hadn't had a vape in ages. I'm not supposed to vape in the house, but you know. There we go. Do a bit of Wes. So I'm channeling a bit of Wes and a bit of AJ today. Yes, I know, and I love Aliens. I love the franchise. So I do hope, you know, there's some impressions out there and it's looking good, but until there's you know, I'm hoping the full reviews, I do hope they go up a day or two before release, then it gives people time to cancel if it's not good at launch. You know, that would be the ideal thing. Behemoth, obviously, there's been a few things recently, but I imagine there might be some jank in Behemoth, but I think it's going to be definitely more polished than Saints and Sinners. And Saints and Sinners is not a shit game, especially Retribution. It's a brilliant game. It's got still some bugs and jank, but you don't care about that because it's such a fucking brilliant game. And I've no doubt Behemoth, from what people have said when they've done the early the vertical slice players, I don't think it's going to be a bad game at all, Behemoth. I just think it might launch with a few little issues maybe, but probably nothing game breaking. Well, I hope so. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for those. But yeah, just looking at other stuff I've not covered on the channel. Obviously, I'm not doing any Cactus Cowboy. I've done a bit Cave Digger and Cave Digger 2. D-Day, I bought D-Day when it was on offer. But it's, you know, it's really, I really feel for Stranger Games because it's such a, you know, great, massive game to play. But unless a game's organised, the general lobbies, you know, it's not populated, which is a shame. I don't know if it's crossplay. I don't know if it's out on other formats. I'm not sure, but it, you know, 64 is it 64 player maximum capacity on there? It needs more. Crossfire, I played a lot of. Cosmo Dread, I've finished that. Again, a game I wish I had a platinum trophy because, you know, that was worth it. And same again, they could have added more trophies on there by kill so many enemies with this weapon, kill so many enemies with that weapon, you know, or play with this modifier, you know, something like that. You know, they could have easily added more trophies in a variety of ways. You know, Clean Sheet, it's not so much a game, but if you wanted to be a footballer, I've got that to review, or at least do an impressions video of. But I can't play it in here. I would have to move my console into another room because you need a lot of physical space to play that because you are a goalkeeper. Of course, Demio, I've been playing a bit of Demio with my friend on the Quest, and again the Quest version of that's really good. It's just you notice the background's not like, because I have the basement turned off on DBO. I like to see just the table. I don't like to see the basement, and it's just everything there is not a pure black darkness. It's just that kind of slightly off black, that greyish. So that's the kind of difference in the PSVR 2, and there's virtually no mirror on the PSVR 2 version in that game. That I notice or can remember. But yeah, playing it with my best mate, and I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think it'd be his thing, being a board game, but he loved it, really loved it. And now you can save anywhere. Now because you can only use to save between each floor, and now you can save anywhere. That's just like definitely a good thing. Right, so yeah, obviously Galaxy Kart, Garden of the Sea. I picked up Garden of the Sea for like £6 or something like that, £7 one week it was on offer, and I kind of got. I do want to get my wife in there, but I need to get some better lenses from the PlayStation, from the VR, because I've only got the prescription lenses in there. I need to get some non-prescription ones. So Shapeshifter saying, confident Behemoth will rock, Saints and Sinners dev, and always was already postponed for a full year. Of course, yeah, it's started getting rumoured, and I think Sony kind of wanted to push them down. I'm really glad, but they probably turned around to him and said, no, hang on, we're not ready. We want to deliver a good product. Yeah, I believe in Skydance. I do believe in Skydance. I do think it is going to be good. But like I said, Saints and Sinners isn't perfect, but I think it's going to be more polished than Saints and Sinners because they've learned things along the way. They're obviously growing as a team and as a developer. And yeah, it's people have played it, and the bit they played, it feels fucking good. It's Shadow of Colossus in VR. That's what we kind of want. But yeah, Garden of the Sea. You know, I kind of want to show my wife that. She probably really would love it because she likes the gardening type games and Farmville and that kind of stuff. Kayak, of course. Legend of Tales. Now, I have started playing Legend of Tales, and I started playing it with someone, and I started recording some content for this game, but things went on, and I've just backed up the content, and I'm not creating content out of the footage I've recorded. I'm not going to go into any details on there. Not going to say anything about that, but disagreements. That's all I'll say. Disagreements, and I don't want to kind of continue doing that realm of footage, but I do want to play some. I'd love to get myself. I'd love to get hold of the tack vest, the rumble vest. What's it called? The tack suit. So yeah, the B haptics. There we go. I'm trying to think of the word B haptics. I want to get myself a B haptics. Because that's supposed to be really good on there. So the wife's saying she does. Yep. She wants to play on that game. Of course, Madison. I've still not played Madison. Finished Madison, and I think I made a mistake with Madison. I don't want to go into spoilers, but you get to this cathedral, and you've got for this puzzle you've got to find these 4 different coloured mazes, and it's the only time you ever see Murrah on that game, and it's so pitch black every time. But the only time I've seen Murrah on there is in those different coloured lights. You can see it. It's not bad in any way. It's like you can notice it. You know, some people might be able to see through it, and you can see through it, of course. But it's not like nowhere near the level of how bad the Murrah is on Metro, for example, which is just on all dark areas. But it only shows up in the different lights. So I've always wondered if it's something about game development where different light sources can affect Murrah in different ways. Because like if you look at Paper Beast there as well, Paper Beast has bad Murrah in the dark areas. It does have bad Murrah. On the outside, it's great, and in Metro in the well lit areas, it's hardly noticeable at all. But with Madison, the dark areas are fucking pitch black. They've really nailed it. It's just under this in the cathedral, under these different coloured lights. That's the only time you can see it in the game. It's so far as I played. But once you get there, you get there's an enemy in there, and yeah, once you spawn him, that's it. You kind of got, and I couldn't figure out. I got killed by him 3 or 4 times in a row, and that's in my live stream. And then I kind of looked after I did the live stream. I kind of looked it up, and there's a point where you can go into this confessional box, and when you do that, it triggers the enemy. So you can do most of the puzzle without triggering him. So that's the only thing I didn't want to avoid. I wanted to avoid spoilers, but you can do most of the puzzle without triggering the enemy. So I did think about just kind of replaying to that point again on a new save and then continue my live stream. Or since my live stream so long ago, I'm just thinking I might just do a fresh play again anyway, but do it as like I'm doing now with the rest of Metro, just recording my footage and putting out episodes. Because that's kind of easy, and as well, I find if I can play for a couple of hours, and then a couple of hours play. If I knock that into like 25 to 30-minute episodes, then I can in a couple of hours play. That's like that's a week's worth of content straight away, and that's kind of I'm a bit in front at the moment with episodes for No Man's Sky because I've started breaking it down. So I've got at least 4 episodes of No Man's Sky ready to go. I've only just done part 2. Have I done? Can't even remember what I put out last time. Part 2 or part 3 of I think it was part 2 of the Curse Expedition, and that's in 5 parts, I think. So I've got another 3 parts of that done, and then I'm already I'm just got to start editing the new the Expedition 2, which that's done. I've already got 2 parts of Metro done, so I'm kind of in front with content, which is kind of good. So yeah, I might just play Madison again. Max Mustard, of course, absolutely love Max Mustard. People really got on with Operation Serpents, but if you watched my video and if you watched the pickle short I did, why are you crouching? Why are you crouching? It's like, oh, fucking stop! I don't know what it was, and it's like I know a lot of people play sat down, and I was playing the sat down, but whatever reason, there's no crouch button in that game, but it kept fucking crouching, and I had to recenter the view every single time, and it drove me fucking crazy. And but people say they enjoyed it, but because of that bug, I fucking hated it. I really hated everything about that because of that bug. But Pistol Whip, of course, I love Pistol Whip. I've actually got some content I recorded last year now. No, start of this year when the Void Slayer came out. Void Slayer DLC, which was around February, March time. I put one video out with one of the songs when it first came out, and then I waited a while, and then by the time I came around to playing it again, the other 2 parts were out. I recorded that, but that's sat on the PC, which I can't. The footage is in a different format. I can't send that to the PlayStation to edit. But now I've actually got some software I can use on the PC. I might get that put out soon. Propagation. Did a couple of live streams of that. A really difficult game to live stream because it is so dark, and you're trying to conserve your batteries because you want your torch. It's like in the headset you can kind of see, but on the social output it is so when you don't have your torch on, it is virtually pitch black, and I don't find it's entertaining content because you can't see a lot. So if you've been watching my Metro playthrough, you'll see on the times when I'm just exploring, I'm walking along and I'm winding I've got the winder for your torch power. I'm constantly winding it as I'm walking along, because when you wind it to its top level, it kind of overcharges it for like, it lasts about 3 or 4 seconds. When you stop doing it, it suddenly dims a little bit. But when you're doing it, it's like overcharges. It's really bright. So when I've been doing my footage, I'm doing that at all the other points, because otherwise the footage is just too dark. And again, it's not that dark in the headset. It can be quite dark in the headset on that. But Propagation, you can kind of see without your torch. But you kind of you're conserving battery. So again, I might get back to that. Red Matter, I've done the one live stream, and I've got to get back to that, which means because I bought the bundle, I've not even played Red Matter 2 yet. So I've sat on that. It's not even downloaded. Stuff I need to get some of these games finished. I probably need to put out a list out and just say, right, okay, what should I do next, guys? What should I play? So Shapeshifter's saying, how the hell did the Madison devs pull that off? They should teach every future PSVR 2 dev how to hide the mirror. Said, including Sony. Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. Absolutely agree. I said it's even like I said, in the cathedral, you can see it under that different coloured light, but it's only slight. It's only slight, and it's probably just the inherent thing they just can't get rid of because of the inherent thing about the Fresnel lenses. But everything else, they just nail that. And then You know, Vertigo are not a small dev studio anymore. They're not particularly indie anymore, are they? The Vertigo is quite a biggish team as far as I'm aware. And you know, Metro's, I'm loving Metro compared to how I went into Arizona, and I had so many issues with Arizona not working right and no hybrid or capacitive touch. And you know, they've got hybrid capacitive touch in Metro, which works perfectly. The way the guns handle, it just felt so much better than what Arizona Remake did. Everything about that game, I'm really just, you know, I'm loving Vertigo for what they've done, but it's just that what's gone wrong with the pipeline process to make the mirror so bad, because it's probably one of the worst on the headset as far as I'm concerned, you know, and Paper Beast is that's pretty bad mirror on Paper Beast, to be fair, but yeah, it just it's absolutely nailed it on Madison. Just don't know how to do it. But yeah, I need to get back and play those. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 now has been out for, when did it come out? Was that last year, wasn't it? Hang on, what are we on? Yes. Yeah, it came out last year because my wife bought me the physical box copy for my birthday last December, and I'm still probably about halfway through, maybe something like that. And people rave about it. But 7 and 8 are better for me. It's something about Resident Evil 4. It's good. When I've been playing it, but then I play something else and I forget about it. It's the story of Resident Evil 4 what's not really gripping me. It is the story what's not gripping me about Resident Evil 4. It never did the original one. The original one never gripped me. And it took me years to go back and play it, which is when I realised I really enjoyed 5, and people hated 5. But I enjoyed 5 because of the cult mainly. But then I see how much 5 was just basically cloning what 4 did. But it's just, I don't know, it's the entire Los Plagas thing. And again, compared to Village and 7, where Ethan's an everyday guy, and you feel vulnerable, you feel like you're weak. Leon's a badass. You never feel vulnerable, in my opinion. It's not scary. There's a few oh shit moments, and it's stressful. It's not scary, it's stressful. That's the difference. People saying it's not scary, but it's like, yeah, there's a few bits what might make you jump, of course, but it's not particularly scary because you could just roundhouse kick fucking virtually most things. You don't feel vulnerable. You know, Ethan felt vulnerable, but I will get back to it. It's not a bad game. I will never say it's a bad game. It is a definitely good game. It's just the story doesn't grip me like the other ones done. Song in the Smoke, absolutely fantastic. If you go back on my channel, if you go back to my channel for when I first started streaming, PSVR 2 came out, like really low production value, old camera, worse than this camera really, but well, no green screen or anything set up, and I played like 5 hours in the demo for Song in the Smoke, and then when I got it the disc copy, I played it solidly for like a good week or so, and then something else come out, and something else come out, and it's so hard to go back. Synapse, I did beat Synapse, but I only bet it once through the first time, so you've got to beat it through a couple of times, haven't you, to get the platinum, I think. Synth Riders, I play Synth Riders quite a lot. Switchback, the last time I pre-ordered something and got burnt, because that depressed the fuck out of me. That really depressed the fuck out of me, because it looked, you know, this bug what only affected certain people. Well, if it was only certain people, I was one of them, because it looked like dog shit. It was a blurry mess. You couldn't even read the text on the menu. The opening menu is like, this is the thing we always say now. If you start a game and the opening logos or any text what comes on for the studios and publishers, unless that is crystal clear, you know the game's going to be shit or not from that moment onwards. And yeah, you couldn't even read that when it was loading up, and it just looked. It now looks better. The game looks good, and it's fine, but it's not a great game compared to Rush of Blood. Rush of Blood was fantastic. It's just design choices again. The mechanic of, you know, they don't look and, you know, don't blink. It's great, but they kind of use it once and forget about it. It's going to use it a lot more. And then every time you're going down a corridor and pff, your guns disappear. You're like, well, you know a jump scare's coming. You know, in Rush of Blood, it never took your guns away, as far as I remember. It's like something to jump in your face and you'd shoot it. It's not going to damage it because it's not supposed to get you or anything like that. It's there to make you jump. But you could just shoot at it at least. But Switchback taking your guns away, that just kills the horror. It kills the, all right, I better just prepare myself. Oh yeah, someone jumps at me. It's like, ugh. Anyway, Fluke saying he's guessing that the black in that game was actually black, as in no pixels illuminated at all. If there's any RGB value at all above 0, no matter how dark, then pixels are illuminated, and then you potentially got mirror, of course. Yeah, so yeah, the blacks were basically pure blacks. It really is the pure blacks. And yeah, same for Switchbacks, look terrible at launch. Too much boring downtime. Yeah, exactly, mate. That's it. And the little puzzle solving and stuff like that. And I think for fans of the you know, the Dark Pictures games, they're probably going to enjoy it because they're going to like the references for it all. And I've not played the Dark Pictures games. I've only briefly started the intro of Until Dawn, and of course Rush of Blood's the only proper game I've played of theirs. But I just wanted a good roller coaster game, and you know, I kind of enjoyed the Horde mode. I was actually #1 spot when the Horde mode came out. I was #1 spot for about a week or so. I've probably been beaten by now, but I kind of got to like round 26 or something like that, and the nearest round was at like 12 or something, and I got bored. I ran out. I didn't want to run out of time. I just got bored and I had to fucking stop playing because I was doing it for like an hour and a half, and it's like I could keep going. I could keep going, but I'm gonna get bored. It was saying when I was playing the stack game, the Stack Overflow on Arcade Paradise. I was like several million points ahead of the second place person on the high scoreboard, because I was playing it for like non-stop for 40 minutes, and I had like 20 minutes, half an hour as a time built up, because I was that quick at it, and I could have kept going. I could have kept playing all night, but at one point I had to think, I've got to stop. So, you know. So, Shapeshifter saying, yeah, bought Switchback a couple of patches in. All in all, really enjoyed it, to be honest. Yeah, it came to an enjoyable game. I think it was overpriced. It was overpriced. Because what, $32.99 I played for the pre-order. But that's why I just don't pre-order stuff unless I know, you know, someone I trust, like Without Parole crew or anybody has played it, or Jammy, and is telling me it's good. I won't pre-order, but it's not a terrible game. There's fun in there. It's fun to play, but it's just not got that same feeling as Rush of Blood, and it's just got poorer design choices. But anyway, the Light Brigade, yeah, I love the Light Brigade. I've only cleared the first 2 levels. I've got to clear the 3rd difficulty level. I've got to the boss, the end of the 3rd one, but it beat me. Dark Matter, I've still got to finish that, about halfway through. Of course, I platinumed Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 twice, because I got the PS4 Platinum and I got the PS5 Platinum. And again, I got the updated version, because I had the Tourist Edition anyway. And I played that through before I even started Retribution. I'd had Retribution I'd had it for over 6 months before I even loaded it, I think. Thumper, I got the upgrade as well. That is also, for me, that's got pretty terrible mirror. And I know that Thrasher's coming out. Is it out, or is it already out, Thrasher? I'm not sure if it's out on PSVR 2. Might be out on other formats. But I think some people saying it's just not the same feeling. But Thumper's good. I enjoy Thumper. Towers and Powers, played a bit of that. I've still got to go back. I picked that up. That was another one of those Kiwi design games. What was like £1.59, and for £1.59, that's worth that all day long. I think at a tenner, if you're into tower defense games, because I don't think it's that expensive. I think Towers and Powers is it's a good game. It's fun. Yeah, I was really enjoying Dark Matter playing it, Fluke. And Seventh Guess I haven't played either, but because I remember seeing that back in the CD-ROM days on the PCs and stuff. Got Trombone Champ, and Unplugged Air Guitar. It's like these guys, I don't know what they're fucking playing at. Because on Quest, on other formats, and the thing is, I think this probably works really well on Quest because it's got the finger tracking. You can't see that. I'm doing it off camera. It's got finger tracking, and it probably works better than it does with the controllers. But I still kind of enjoyed it. I was enjoying playing it. But there's a bug for me, and none of the trophies are unlocking. Not a single trophy. And I played hours and hours of it. Not a single trophy unlocks. And I messaged them on Twitter, and there was a post someone had put on, and I posted something about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're aware of the issue, and we should be rolling out a patch soon." That has never received a patch ever. Since that came out on the PlayStation VR 2, as far as I'm aware, there's never been a fucking update at all. Nothing. So I've still got no trophies unlocked at all. So why would I play it? What's my incentive to play it? Because I'm enjoying it. I do enjoy it. You know, but I think it was because you've only really got 2 buttons on the Sense controllers you use. I think it loses something not having the finger tracking because you've got 4 buttons, you know, on the Quest version, having the finger tracking, and you've got DLC. There's a Pantera pack out on that. There's a Pantera pack, and again, there's no DLC. It's kind of like, here's your port, and they pushed it out. So it's like, what the fuck, guys? I want to love your game. I want to play your game, but trophies don't work. You're not supporting it, and you've done support. You've got stuff out on other formats. What's going on? Okay, but anyway, Vegas Infinite, Very Bad Dreams, VR Skater. I've got the box copy of VR Skater, and it came out like when it was really hot last year, and it was just too hot to play. It was just really, it's such a physically demanding game, and I've just never got round to really getting back into it. Walkabout, I love Walkabout. Play it all the time when a new course comes out. Really, Waltz the Wizard, bit of fun on there. Windlands 2, absolutely love Windlands 2, and Sony's fucked Cytec over. Sony fucked Cytec over. So when that came out, the only way you could find the PSVR 2 version of that game is by searching for it, because they put it on the wrong section. They put it under the PSVR section, not the PSVR 2, and there's all sorts going wrong because the store's terrible. We know the store's terrible, and right now, if you look at the PSVR 2 section on the store, that is at the bottom. That is below all the shovelware and the stuff what's just announced. It should not be the last game in that catalogue as being the least sell. You know, I just think the metrics fucked up. The metrics got to be fucked up, because I'm sure they must have sold some copies, right? It can't have sold that bad, but it's at the bottom on purpose. I think it's because of the way it was listed. I think the store's fucked them over, and now it's right at the bottom of the page. It's unlikely to generate that many more sales unless people hear about it. And I love this game. I love Windlands 2. I think it's a must-buy. I love it on the format. It's brilliant. The haptics are brilliant. VR Monkey's done a fantastic job with the port, and Sony's fucked them over. And it pisses me off, that it does, because after having met John and Callum now as well, they're a lovely bunch, and the game's brilliant, and it doesn't deserve to be sat at the bottom of the store below trash like Grand Rush Highway shit, take my money and fuck off business. But anyway, so Shapeshifter says, are you guys aware that they are actually redesigned parts of the tracks and added more coaster-worthy sections? When do they do that update? I know there's been a few. I've seen a few updates roll in, but I've not actually played that for a while, so it's worth checking out. Yeah, I hadn't. It doesn't tell you when you last played it, but it's definitely been a while since I've last played it. Check for update. Look at that. There's an update. So there we go. There's another update there. So cheers, Shapeshifter. Do appreciate that. But I don't know what update that was, but I will check it out after have a look. And then of course I've got my extended storage, which is on USB, because like not all this is on console storage. Most of this is actually on an M2 card I've got, so I do have a lot of my hard drive's full, and I've got all my PSVR 1 games are on a external SSD, which is plugged into the PlayStation as an extended storage. So these are all my PS4 games, a lot of VR. As you can see, Borderlands. Give us Borderlands, I'll pay for Borderlands again. It's like, can you imagine if Factor VR got the license for Burnout? Ooh yeah, if Flat Out does well, oof. Can you imagine what they could do with that license? Deadland VR played, of course. Death Stranding. You can see my kind of taste of games in here. You know, you've got Final Fantasy in there. Dirt Rally. Why Codemasters? Why don't we have a Dirt PS5 VR, PSVR version? It's like they've given up. It's like they don't want to do it. And it's like, that's so good. That is so good on PSVR 1, in my opinion, with a wheel as well. So good. Drive Club was good, but of course that got shut down. Of course, you can still play Drive Club. I don't think I'm not sure if it's delisted. I can't remember if it's delisted. I think if you've got it, if you bought it, I think you can get it from your purchase list. But that's still installed. You can still play it. It's just got none of the connectivity things are on there. As far as I'm aware, I've not tried it. I've not been back on since they delisted it. I think because it used to have all the different corners and stuff. Dreams I got when it was on Plus. I've never tried it yet. There's a few Plus games on here. There we go, talking Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles earlier when I've got the box copy. Farpoint I've just replayed recently. Really enjoyed replaying that. Again, Sony. What, you know, if we don't see next year, if we don't see a remastered version of games like Farpoint, of, you know, fucking Russia Blood and Truth, if Astrobot, you know, let alone sequels, but if we're not getting remakes of these next year, then you would start to believe, but they don't fucking care. Because surely there's got to be someone in their PR team what knows how people feel about these games, know how loved they are, and how much we want them on the new format. And surely they're sold well. I'm pretty sure they're probably sold well on PSVR. So it's like, if we don't get it next year, and because like we're into the second year now, we're nearly second year's nearly up. Only a couple of months to do. We're getting to the third year, but I know obviously PSVR 1 really, the mid to back end of PSVR 1 was when it really ramped up. You know, so I'm hoping it's going to do the same thing. But if they don't include those in their lineup, there's something wrong. So Fluke is saying Shapeshifter, was that long after they fixed the initial problems? Not sure he played any updated tracks or not. Yeah, there's been quite a few updates since they fixed the visual problems. There's been quite a few updates for it. Because the last time I played was when the Horde mode came out, and that was a while ago now. So yeah, but yeah, in Hear the Lie, and of course, you know, the guys at Impact Reality. You know, I'm hoping. I want to say, and this is not inside information. I don't know any inside information at all. But obviously, he's a massive fan, Wes Dillon, of this game, and the guys what did this because originally it was Tangentleman, the studio, and now some of those peeps are now with Eyes Wide, Eyes Open, or Eyes Out. I keep forgetting. Eyes Out, Eyes Open, or Eyes Wide, or something. But yeah, they obviously popped in when he's doing his live streams each year, because he does his live streams, and is hinted at discussions, and they're trying to make it happen. They're trying to make everything happen, everything they can to make it happen. I keep forgetting. Have I got audio up from the game playing in the background? I keep forgetting about that because I just see my thing going game captain like there's no audio, but I've got my TV turned down so I don't hear myself. But yeah, there's a couple of games that Factor VR are working on, which aren't public, because they did kind of hint at that the other day. because we know 4 what are publicly made, but they're working on 6 to 8 titles, I think he said. I'm hoping that's going to be one of them, because having a remaster of that with proper motion controls and interactive things as well, I think it could really shine. And I replayed it, and it didn't make me feel queasy. Just I felt a little bit kind of squished and letterboxy. And like LA Noire, it's like, why have we not got? It's Rockstar. What the fuck, guys? You know, people love that, and that was a trimmed down version of the full game. Of course, Moss. It's, you know, Minecraft. That got a fucking VR version, but Microsoft don't care. It's like we're never going to see Skyrim, people say, because of Microsoft. But you know, I know everybody wants to monopolize. They want to monopolize the industry, and that's what Microsoft's trying to do by buying up all these studios and then shutting them down, of course. But surely the ultimate goal is to make money, right? And if I was Microsoft, it's like, God, these guys will pay for fucking Skyrim at 50 quid again. Just come on, we can port it. You know, we can port the game and charge 50 quid, and people will pay for it again. No fucking upgrades. We're not going to do any upgrade feeds, you know. And people will fucking pay. There'll be anger, but the amount of people want to play a new update of Skyrim on a new system like a PCVR 2, like me, I will be that prick what will fucking not boycott it. I'll buy it again for 50 quid every day. So yeah, Shapeshifter saying, yeah, it's one of the later patches, not the latest one, but 1 or 2 before. But yeah, I've not played that for a while. So anyway, I think I've been rabbiting on for like 3 hours, haven't I? It's really crazy. And I was wondering, like, what the hell am I going to talk to him? I was only going to do a talk for about an hour, and then play. But yeah, I've just been rabbiting on. But it's a difference, you know. Yeah, it's been. I've enjoyed myself, and it's been nice to have the people dropped into the chat over the time as well. So everybody that's dropped in, really do appreciate it. And yeah, and as of me setting up the stream, I got up to 201 subs the other day, and when I was setting up the stream, I was just logging into my account, and I'm up to 203. Is it? What am I on? Yeah, 203 subscribers. Oh shit, wrong button. There we go. 203 subscribers as of right now, so everybody what does subscribe to my channel, here's to you. I do appreciate it, and it's onwards and upwards, you know. And I'm doing this just to share my love of gaming and passion. As you can see, I've just rabbited on for 3 hours talking absolute bollocks about anything what's coming to my head, and I've probably forgot to get back to certain subjects because I get off on a tangent, but that's kind of what I do. I'll get back to it eventually, but. All right, the PC's telling me F1 starting soon. Okay, it's an early hours race. Oh yeah. It's in one of the foreign ones, isn't it? Not sure. Brando just popped in. Hey Pickle. Yes, thank you very much, dude. It's kind of just wrapping it up, mate. I've just been talking bollocks and video games for 3 hours. My throat's getting a bit sore actually, and I've hardly drank. I only had a pint when I started. I feel like I should pour an home brew. Just to show you, but in my beer fridge. Well, I'm not going to show the beer fridge, but I'll pour some. I've got these lovely things. They're called pinters, and it's basically like a keg, and it holds 10 pints of beer. And this is very heady. It's like this one's really gassy. You're gonna have to get a flake in this one. You basically get like a yeast extract pack, and then you mix it with the water. You mix it with the water and put the yeast in, and then need a flake with that. That's a big ass head, and yeah, you just basically stick it all in this little keg, put it in on a dock, and you leave it for depends on the beer, 6 to 7 days, and then I put it in the fridge. That's why I've got this big fridge in the cupboard. In there, you put it into cold crash it, so then all the dead yeast falls into the bottom of the dock, and then after 2 days cold crashing, take the dock off, and then I can usually get a bit off the dock, some of the juice off the dock, which is probably about half a pint, which is before you get to the yeast, you don't want to really drink because it'll give the shits. And then you put it back into the fridge for another, 5 to 6 days to condition, and then it's just got a tap on the front and you pour straight off. But this one's, it's definitely brewed gassy. Yeah, I'm not sure Brando says better late than never. Of course, mate, of course. But cheers. This one's actually not one of the official packs. Not supposed to use anything but the official packs because it invalidates your warranty. But I think they're after warranty anyway. I've got 3 of these things, and when I bought them, they were like fucking 100 odd quid each. So I've used my tips to buy some of these machines. But the packs, what brew 10 pints at a time, they've just gone up in price. Like the cheapest is still about 16 quid, and the more expensive ones about 22 quid. But in the scheme of things, 20 quid for 10 pints of beer, it's pretty good. But this is actually off of Amazon, which is one of the Geordie homebrew kits, and it was 17 quid. And this, if you've got a big old school method of doing homebrew, it will make 40 pints. But I split the pack into 3 because then it comes out as a slightly stronger beer if you do it into 3s instead of 4s, because I split it into 30 pints instead. So I get 30 pints for 17 quid. Now that's good value for money. For a tight ass Yorkshireman, that's definitely good value for money. But when I first brewed this the other day, I poured it and I thought it was off because it leaked. So I thought it was off, and it's got a little bit of a weird taste to it, and it's kind of like it's approaching off, but it's not. But I think the only difference is when I got the pack, it comes it's like syrup in a can. Cheers, one's off the fridge. It's like a syrup, and it comes obviously with a pack of the yeast. And when I did 2 batches in one go, and I split the packet of yeast in half and put it in each batch because I've only got 2 brewing docks and I've got 3 of these pinters. So I had to wait until one was done to brew the second, the last 3rd batch. But I had none of the original yeast, so I actually got some turbo yeast, and I think that's why it tastes a little bit different compared to the first 2 batches, because the turbo yeast is obviously not the intended yeast for this type of brew. So, but it's fucking alcoholic. I know that much. A few of these and you're all right. The ones I've currently got brewing, I've got some fruity cider, some dark fruit cider from my wife, which I quite like as well actually. And I've got a beer called Space Hopper, and Space Hopper is a double IPA, which is 7%. Normally comes out about 7%, but I dump an extra 50 kilograms of brewing sugar in there or so. Not 50, not 50 kilograms, 50 grams. Yeah, about 50 grams, 50 kilograms. Fucking hell, that's terrible. 50 grams of brewing sugar in there. So it's probably going to come out around the 8% mark. 8.1 maybe. So that knocks your shit off that. But yeah, I like to save money where I can. And that's the thing. The thank you to everybody what subscribed to the channel. That's it's because of you guys I'm in a position where developers are giving me access to games, because I'm just getting to play and talk about the games, review the games, and it's because of you guys I get to do that. And I can't thank you guys and girls and everybody adjacent to those descriptions. Got to be inclusive these days. Of course, you've got to be inclusive, and I do want to be inclusive. I'm ashamed of some things I may have thought and said in my past as a younger person, as a kid. And growing up in the 80s, 90s, things like homophobia and racism and sexism was such an everyday, normal kind of occurrence, which is never, in hindsight, which should be never acceptable. And of course, it's never acceptable to be like that. And just be a fucking, go back to right at the start of the stream, number 1 rule of life when you're born, don't be a dick. That should be the number 1 rule. And it's just the way things were, back then. You didn't think anything was wrong with some things you may have said, and now I'm, as an adult, I regret so many things, and I would never, ever teach that to anybody or any children, anything that I may have picked up when I was younger, because the world's not like that. We've got to be inclusive, and that's where the greeting came from. Because a lot of you, I know, a lot of my guys and everybody adjacent. I'm still going. Yes, mate. Yeah, Games with T just popped in, Reese. Yeah, dude, 3 hours. I didn't realise I didn't realise how fucking long I'd been going. And yeah, I've only just refilled my beer, mate. And I'm trying to wrap up, but I'm refilling the beer and just rabbiting. But yeah, my greeting, because when I first started streaming, I used to just say, "Hi guys," uh, and that could be offensive to some people, of course. You know, Fluke says to T, you know what they say, there's no such thing as perpetual motion machine. Haha. But yeah, so I used to, you know, guys or hi guys and gals, but of course, there's people who identify differently, and that could be perceived as being not inclusive. So I know a lot of my viewers are from the GameCat community because I consider myself part of the GameCat army, always GameCat army. So that's when I started doing, you know, hi there, guys and gals, Game Cats and Game Kittens, and everybody else adjacent to any of those descriptions. So I just think that covers kind of everything. So I do want to be inclusive. I don't ever want to leave anybody out. And you know, I'll game with a lot of people, and I've had a few games, and I've popped in with some people on some online games, or I've had a walkabout session with someone who was saying some things which I didn't agree with myself. Some wordings I never use, and I'm always mindful of that kind of thing. So I'm more than happy to have a game with people and create content. It's like I had a great pleasure of meeting Rusty and doing the kayak, chatting a kayak. Really enjoyed doing that content, and it's not doing too bad actually for one of my videos because you know some of my I don't get as many hits as I like on some of my content, um, and it's like my rage pickle videos. I'm so proud of my rage pickle videos because every time I watch it, I fucking laugh at myself so much because if I'm cracking myself up, I really am. But it didn't get the views I thought it would do. It would do, and I created shorts, and the shorts did well. You know, the shorts were averaging 400 to 500 views on the shorts, but it's like I thought it was really entertaining and really funny, and it just didn't do as well as I thought it would do. And then you do another video, and you don't think much of it, and then suddenly it gets a really high view count. Or then I put on my live music videos, and it's like the bartender video for Head PE. It's like 300 odd views in a couple of days. It's kind of it figures, but yeah, I always want to be inclusive on this channel, and I will make content with stuff. But then if you know if I'm playing with people or talking to people, and they've got everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. Of course, everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. But there's I'll always make a stand where I won't endorse someone or promote content where I feel like someone is doing something what's not okay, or saying something is something I don't agree with in that way. For example, saying you know women shouldn't do this job, or they can't you can't do this because of your religion. It's kind of like no, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna entertain that kind of stuff. But I always say on my channel, it's one thing. That's where I started actually. I started saying what you can expect on my channel, and I kind of done what you can expect on the channel is me rabbiting on for fucking 3 hours without getting to any kind of point. That's what you can expect from my channel. But it's like I'm not going to do news and stuff, but I do get off on a point. But you can always expect. But I'm just going to be truthful. I'm going to be honest. But there's no religious talk, no political talk, because it's the world's a mess, and we all know the state of affairs in other countries and elections and things like that. And I've of course got my points of view on these things, but as a content creator in the content I'm making, because I'm making content about video games, that's got no place in there. So regardless of my views or someone else's views, as it's fine. But as long as it's not something what's a view what's offensive, and I know about it, if it's offensive, I'm not going to promote that person or in my content. But of course, everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. But I keep certain things out of my content because it's not what my channel's about. My channel's about video games. So yeah, tease off. Is about to go to bed. Play Legion. Oh, is that the handheld device? I didn't even see what the handheld device was. It's got. I assumed it was some kind of Steam Deck or something, or a Steam Deck equivalent. But yeah, game cat litter. Well, I suppose I better wrap this up. We are at 111. I do like good round numbers, but yeah, I do appreciate every single one of you, and you're the reason I get to do more of this. It's I do buy my games, but I'm getting access to things, and it's a privileged position to be in to be able to get access to video games uh, and review video games. It definitely is a privilege, and I'll never take it for granted. And it's because of every single one of you guys is the reason that devs are even looking at my channel, because it wasn't until I started getting, I think I got the first key when I was around 130ish, something like that, and I've been talking to another another content creator, and he says, but yeah, once you start getting past 150, then you can usually get a bit more interest. And it was after I got approached first time for a key, where I thought, well, I'll just be bold and I'll ask a few people. And lo and behold, I got access, and then it kind of builds your confidence. And then, of course, as my channel's grown and as it's growing, and I hope it's going to continue to grow, should be able to get bigger and better titles. So, I'm going to definitely try get hold of. Hello, you're going to be on camera, maybe? No, you're not.
I meant a litter of kittens, not cat litter.
Game cat litter. Okay, a litter of kittens.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh dear. So a kit of littens. One of his neighbours just got a cat, and obviously we lost our cat last year. Was it this year? This year, yeah. Time moves, and yeah, my wife's kind of getting all kitty jealousy. So not sure, Brando. It's great how VR's brought people together more than not. Of course, yeah. People think video games is quite a solitary thing, and VR even more so because you're in a headset. But I've you know, I've met so many great people and got so many new friends because of VR. And being part of this network, this community, the VR community, the Without Parole community, the Crossbutton community, um, and of course, just the wider VR community, really just, some great people, and I've had some great times, and I've still got, I'm going to finally get around to doing this. From the launch week of Walkabout, I've got a couple of hours of recorded footage with some really funny moments with a load of the game cats. And I want to do like a highlight reel. And I've got all the footage stored. I've got half of it kind of cut down to the sections, which is funny. And I think it's funny. But I need to kind of get it all edited together in a video. And of course, I need to send out messages to everybody what's in the content to make sure they're happy with being part of a video, because I wouldn't just publish it without just letting people know. I'm not that kind of person. But yeah, it's very social. There's so many social great games on the platform as well. The end is nigh. I love your content and work, mate. Prophecy 777. Yes, thank you very much, dude. Exciting time to be part of the VR community. Yes, well said. Yeah, it's looking good. We're eating good, and I just hope Sony get into the right frame of mind and start promoting this shit, because we know how good it is. We know we're eating good, and like I said, I've got a Quest 3 now as well, and I kind of looked at Quest and I always thought, well, it's not really for me because you have got a lot of that low level kind of quality of games, and the cartoony games and stuff. But I've now opened my mind to more games with different art styles, indie games, because I've got access to things. And when I did my Windland reviews, that one of the first things I said was, I always thought indie games was like the 2D platformers or Thomas is Alone type stuff or Candy Crush, but I was wrong about indie games, and that was my opening for that video, because it's opened my eyes, and different art styles. You look at it and it's like, yeah, it's a bit bright and colourful, but it's how it makes you feel. That's what is so difficult to convey as a VR content creator, is how it makes you feel. If you watch my last Metro video, I've got a short I need to create actually out of it. And I put the mask on and I'm going down this corridor with my mask on, and it's, yeah, I just stopped and said, this is VR. This is what you don't appreciate watching the content unless you play the game yourself, because you're looking at it, you're thinking, oh, it looks like a good Metro game. It looks like Metro. I played Metro, and yeah, some things might make you jump when you're playing flat screen, but you don't understand. But the claustrophobia You're in a dark, cramped space. You're going through crawl space with a mask on, heavy breathing. It's fogging up on there. And, you know, it's streaming. You've got to wipe your mask. It's so hard to convey that on a video. You try to describe it, but it's people are like, well, that looks really good and interesting, but you really got to get into it to experience it to really understand the power of VR. It's scale. That's the ultimate word. It's scale. You feel like you're in these places and the vast worlds, the narrow spaces. It's something you just can't overly convey about scale and size. And this is the thing: what Behemoth's going to do when we come up against those behemoths, it's a fucking giant. You're gonna get that scale. And look at it on flat screen, you're gonna think, oh, it's like Shadow of Colossus. Yeah, I can play this game. And it's like, but yeah, you can understand it, and it's great. Oh, I can really love climbing this thing. But you're not getting that sense of how huge it is and how big it is and how much effort it is to get up there as well. You know. Brando was playing Metro today. It'll be Stromland tonight. Stromland? Stormland or Stromland? It's Stromland. Could be Storm, I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, we're reading good, you know, and I think Behemoth's going to be good. I'm really hoping Alien's going to be good, and then into next year, Wanderer. So this is a question for you guys. I have got. Where are we? Put it somewhere. I'll definitely put it somewhere. I have got a game I've never played, and it's still. Oh, there it is. Still in its wrapper. I picked this up, and it's actually. I picked this up really cheaply, and I think if you go to buy it now, it's more expensive. I've got the original Wanderer, still sealed, and I picked it up for like 12 quid. And now the Fragments of Fate's been delayed. Should I play it? So, Oculus game on PC, Stromland, okay. Yeah, so Fragments of Fate's probably, what's the delay till? Is it late February or is it March? It's late February or March, I think it's later. But, you know, as Brian Paul said, it's contender for the VR game of the year. Should I play the original? Or should I just wait for the remake? Or the update, you know? But I kind of want to play it because then you can really, oh God, well they've changed this, oh that's different, and you know I'm kind of one of those like, and I think it'd be quite interesting points to have that reflection. So I might get around to doing that before Christmas, maybe. So yeah, Prophecy 7 is waiting on the remake, but so yeah, if you've not played it either, but I kind of like I said, I kind of do want to play it. I kind of do want to play it. I'm just looking down here at what my boxed VR games are for PSVR 1. Looking out. I've got a sealed copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 here, what I've never even played. And I'm a twat. I'm a twat for this kind of stuff. My wife keeps saying, you don't need this stuff, Craig. You don't need it. I'm like, I do. Oh shit, she can hear, can't she? She's watching the screen. I don't know I'm whispering. She can watch me on video. But yeah, Gran Turismo Sport. Enough said about that thing. But yeah, Rush of Blood, Robinson the Journey. See, I can't actually play that because it doesn't work on the PS5, does it? You've got to play it on the PS4. And Rush of Blood, it plays, but it keeps pausing itself. Is a bug? Is that correct? So that would be annoying as fuck. Of course, I have got Resident Evil 7 on disc. I've got Skyrim on disc, and I've got Wanderer on disc. I think everything else I got digital. I didn't get many physicals, but I am one of those. If I'm seeing some original PSVR 1 kind of classics now, I will kind of just pick them up. So yeah, Fluke saying he's going to wait for the remake as well. So yeah. Speaking of old Oculus games, when I got my Quest, I'd had my Quest a day when I got a message from Courtsync, seeing if I want to review Augmented Empire. And fuck me, I had like 2 or 3 weeks before it came out, and I was dying to talk about that game so much, and I love that. It's the highest score I've given to a game I've reviewed fully yet, because I get it a 9.5, the highest score I've given any game. And yeah, it's a great story, and it's such an old game, and the voice acting's it's recorded 7 years ago, but it's got Kate Mulgrew in. I just fucking love Kate Mulgrew anyway, and I just fell in love with the characters, and it was genuinely funny. It made me laugh. It made me feel for the characters, and I kind of felt sad for certain points, which I won't spoil. But it's like I liked that world, and I kind of like that game, and just like the game in general, because it's kind of like Demio, but with point and clicking kind of situation instead of just lifting up characters and rolling dice. So it was more skill based. But and I asked the question. I forgot to put it in the review. I meant to put this point in the review, but I actually asked the question to the guy saying, "Are there any plans on release on other platforms?" And they said none at the moment. I'm like, oh, but it's like there's nothing like that on PlayStation VR. And Courtsync's done they've done obviously Jurassic Park Aftermath, Jurassic World Aftermath, whichever it is. That's on all formats. And I really think Courtsync should do that. I hope it's sold well, because that's the problem with the Quest. Is it's such a saturated market of free to play stuff, which that's what you might have 20 million fucking Quest 2 users, but probably 19.9 million of those are playing Gorilla Tag or VR chat. I don't know how much the engagement is on buying games, but it's a really good price. I think it launched like, I want to say $7.99 or $11.99. It's something really cheap, and for that game, it's really good. And I think even at like $9.99 in the UK, so like $10 or less, or $10 to $12, or not more than $15, but I think $12.99, so tenner, £9. I think it'd do well on PlayStation, because there isn't any games like that, and of course it hasn't got finger stuff, so that's one control method gone. But I was using the controls anyway, because you could use finger tracking, hand tracking, or you could use the controllers, and you can use the controllers in different modes, where you can point a cursor, you can physically touch things with the tip of the controller was like a pointer, or you could do it on gaze based, so which was just like a cursor in the center of your head you could point at. But they don't even have to, if they could put it in with eye tracking and do eye tracking control and clicking your buttons on your controller. And yeah, I think it'd do really well. I really do want Courtsync to get that on other platforms. I just hope it's sold well on the Quest, which then might entice them to do it on there. But no current plans. But again, I wish they did. So Shapeshifter saying 2025 looks good for VR. Got its Quest 3 in May, and group really like it. Complements the PSVR 2. Well, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. Quest for the media functionalities and exclusives, and VR for the quality. That is exactly how I'm seeing it. The stuff what's coming out on both platforms, I'm going to prefer on the PlayStation every time, because even though apparently Metro's really quite good on the Quest 3 and the clarity is really good, I would not give up those haptics and capacitive touch. I would not give that up for the world. So no matter how bad that mirror is, once I've been playing it for a little bit, you see through it. I would not give up the haptics for that. I really wouldn't. Once you've had them, you can't go back, and you notice it in the latest things as well. And Flux is saying, yeah, if you have PCVR or PSVR 2, if you don't have a Quest at this point, then you're missing out. Exactly. It's like I'm a PSVR 2 guy, and I know there's like the game cat Andrew Ehrenreich. Because he did a tip on the Gamescast, saying he's got a hand in his badge, your game cat badge. I said, no, you don't. It's like, obviously we're covering PSVR 2 here, but it's like you should, if you can afford it, get both. Because yeah, it's like I've still got a Batman to play through. I've got so many games to play through. Like just seeing what's installed on my hard drive I've not played or finished. And then again, I've got Batman. I've only done that original footage I've released. That's as far as I've played. I've not played anymore. I bought Assassin's Creed because Assassin's Creed was over half price when I bought the headset. So I thought, well, I might as well get that because it's exclusive. And then, of course, Asgard's Wrath 2 is currently on Quest Plus, which I've only got for the next couple of months. So I kind of want to get through Asgard's Wrath, just in because I don't always want to sub to Quest Plus. So I kind of want to get through Asgard's Wrath and get that done. Because then I own Batman, I own Assassin's Creed. I can play them at my leisure. So I'm not rushing out to get reviews out for those games or anything like that. It's just something I want to play. So I might get stuck into Asgard's Wrath while I've got the Quest Plus. But yeah, well, Salvador's here. Let's go, dude. Always appreciate your let's go. Let's go, yeah, let's go home because I've been talking for 3.5 hours, mate. It's like ridiculous. I really didn't plan to do this stream this long. But I've enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed it, and everybody that's popped in, I appreciate the company, and I appreciate the subs. And if for whatever reason you're watching this on catch up or anything, or you're on live stream and you're not subbed to my channel, what are you playing at? You just listen to this Northern bloke. Hey, this Northern guy, drinking fucking beer, bit of bitter. Get that down your neck, son. Oh, lad, if there's not listened to me for this long, and there's not pressed that like button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hey, if you know what's good for you, you'll get more bollocks like this. Hey, cheers. And that's how my Yorkshire accent goes. See, normally the Yorkshire accent people think strong, but the other accent is how the rest of my family still talk. The November patch for Batman. Supposed to be a big patch. I think when I logged in to play it, I've saw the quest 2 or 3 weeks now. 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I know when I first played it, it said there were some issues. There was a notice some patches due. But they're in New Game Plus soon, aren't they? Is that like sometime in the new year? I think they said they're going to do that. People want a New Game Plus. That was my only thing I kind of wanted about Augmented Empire was I wanted a New Game Plus. But getting back to that point of that, I'd only had the quest a day because I was always saying about I didn't think there was many things on the quest that would interest me. But I had the quest a day and I got the access to Augmented Empire, and straight away it's one of the best games I've got myself really wrapped up in it, and I was playing other things, and I was thinking about that game. So that was it was a good introduction for me to quests and getting quest keys and getting access on the quest, because I kind of got a really great game to start off with. So I couldn't have asked for a better game than Augmented Empire to be my first full game review. Excuse me if I hear that bit. But yeah, I think I've rabbited on enough. But anybody what's still around or been around most of the stream, I do appreciate it, and I definitely paused my game to be here tonight. So I was gonna play some video games, but I can't at this point because it's like in the UK we're at 1:30 in the morning, and yes, I can't talk and stream too late at night. I try to kind of wrap up by kind of like if I'm doing it, because my wife does stay up anyway, because I work nights, so she kind of in a night mode, and I do kind of try to wrap up doing talky stuff around this time. I still play late on occasion, but I might have to go and have some wifey time. I think we've been watching Brassic. We've been catching up on British TV on Brassic, and I don't know if Brew Pounder, if you're watching or if you catch this on catch up, dude, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Loving the Brummie accent, just no, dude. If you guys know Brew Pounder over on Twitter, and he's on the Discord for Crossbutton VR, he posted, but he says, "Oh, I'm watching y'all's favourite export, y'all. You've got to say y'all, the Great British Bake Off, and Alison Hammond's got such a lovely accent. Oh, I just need a Brummie girlfriend." I'm like, oh no, dude. I'm not slagging off Brummie. I'm not slagging off Brummie, but it's kind of like if you had a brain surgeon talking in a Brummie accent, you'd be a bit disturbed. All right, there. It's like we're just going to take out your brains and scoop it. I don't know, it's a bit scouser, but it's like. Totally. Yeah, I'm just gonna do brain surgery on you. It's really kind of dry like that. I don't know. I can't do accents very well, other than Irish. Top of the morning to you. Yeah. There's a pickle dude. He's been talking fucking shite. Fucking shite. Fucking 3.5 fucking hours. I don't know what he's on about. But if Captain Barmy was here, Captain Barmy would tell me to fuck off. Yeah, he would do. he'd probably fucking smack me for that accent as well. But anyway, with this kind of long form content, you would fit right in at Virtual Straight. Dude, exactly. I expected I was gonna basically talk for about an hour or so and then play for an hour or so. But yeah, I would definitely fit in at Virtual Strangers. But I'm kind of one of those. I can when you're talking with other people, with me, I'll just as you clearly can see, I can just talk for fucking hours, like as if no one's interrupting me or paying attention if you're paying attention or not. But I can talk for hours. But it's sometimes you probably notice with some of Miles' stories, and could be a British trait, I don't know as well. But you kind of go off on a tangent and you'll start going into something or a story, and it drags on a little bit. It kind of flies away with itself. It's like a life of its own. I think it's more a British trait. So yeah, I definitely got that. But yes, I think 3.5 hours is yeah. But it's been nice. I've really enjoyed this, and I do appreciate everybody what's popped in on the live stream and hit that subscribe button so far, and hopefully more content to come. And just let me know if you follow me on my social medias. And weirdly enough, I've now Blue Sky is my favourite platform. I still do Twitter, of course, but my Blue Sky follower accounts gone really up. I passed what I had on Twitter, which Twitter's took me years to get to like 225. Because I did a post about I've hit 225 on both platforms, and then suddenly I've lost like 12 on Twitter. So I don't know what I've done. I've only posted video game stuff anyway, but unless people just actually close their Twitter accounts, that's why they've left. But yeah, and suddenly I prefer Blue Sky's nice, and I've got a video I've got to put out very soon for Quest 3 game. What's not due out? It's coming soon, and it's only a small game, very very indie studio, but it's all hand tracking. And I've got a video to put out just because it was doing a beta test, and I'd already been on the platform in like a day or so, and then it messaged, "Oh, I see you do VR content. Would you be interested in beta testing this game?" And and actually, it's only going to be it's not an expensive game. It's not a an in-depth game, but it's a fun little game. It's a good game to kind of show people for Quest and mixed reality, because it's mixed reality. And it's fun. And I've been putting out a video shortly because I said there's any embargo. So the only embargo thing was the release date, because it might change. So I do know what their planned release date is, but I can't disclose that because that is embargoed. But I'm happily can show the game off. So I've just got to edit that video together. I'm going to try and get that out probably early next week, and should get that out as soon as I can. But other than that, you're going to get more No Man's Sky content. I'm going to continue my playthrough of Metro. Like I said, I want to do I was going to just continue the live streams, but I think longer form like this is hard to keep people engaged. I don't think I'd be surprised if my engagement on this video, I might get some initial views and on it, but I can't imagine the retention is going to be long when they see it's fucking 3.5 hours long. And then, but the worst thing about this, because I don't have an admin or anything, at some point I'm going to sit and watch fucking 3.5 hours of myself to make timestamps. Because I'm that crazy. I'll probably watch most of this stream back to make timestamp to talking points. But yeah, not sure, Brondo. Heading back to VR land for him. Do appreciate you stopping in, dude. Really do appreciate everybody. But yeah, the longer form content, when I do live streams, it does go on for and I try to keep them these days to about an hour, because I think that's not too bad. I think an hour's all right, but then you kind of feel like you want to keep playing the game. So that's why I thought I'll just start recording the footage for Metro and just finish off the playthrough as recorded footage. I do still want to do live streams, of course. First impressions when stuff comes out. I want to do live streams when I can, just to cover it for an hour, and then I can play more. It's like what I've done with Trombone Champ. I was a bit late getting the live stream out, so I meant to do the live stream Tuesday when it came out, but I ended up having a long night playing with my friend on Galaxy Kart instead. So we had really fun, and Shapeshifter, of course. Shapeshifter popped in. But yeah, then next free time I got, that's when I did it. But yeah, I still kind of do those. I still want to do some live streams, of course, things like this. You know, probably not as long as this next time. But yeah, you're gonna expect just recorded footage, Quest, PlayStation. I'm just loving the format, loving VR games, and there's a lot of great things coming out, and I will cover as much as I can, as quick as I can for everybody out there. So, right, until next time, take care of yourself out there, everybody. Peace and love. Bye. I'll press the button. Go on. Hey. That we'll never forget.